Hello, everyone out there. We are back with another stream. We're talking about custom commanders today. Before we get into that, I gotta tell you about all the funny links down in the description. So we have a giveaway going right now. We're really giving away some sleeves, some playmats, and that's it. Yeah, some of those sleeves are specifically our like smooth brain sleeves. So if you're interested in that, go down there. There's also going to be some just general Dragon Shield sleeves thrown in for first place, I believe. And then also there's a SmoothBrainEDH playmat in there. In there, I think there's a second and third place, which will also be getting sleeves. So everybody who wins will be getting SmoothBrain sleeves. But I think only first place will get extra sleeves plus a playmat.
Yeah, there's also... Well, second place also gets extra sleeves. There's also, if I remember correctly, a custom-made deck box that's being 3D printed for this.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that part. Yeah, so doing some cool giveaway stuff to celebrate getting to 10K, which are rapidly approaching 11K right now, actually, which is pretty neat.
Oh, yeah. We hit 10K. That's the important part.
Yes, definitely. And then we have our link tree down there if you want to follow us on social media or go visit our Patreon so you can give us more money and get some benefits in response, I guess. That's not what I wanted to say, but it was funny because magic. Also, our Dragon Shield affiliate links down there. If you want to buy any Dragon Shield products, we would ask that you buy it through that link so we get a little bit of a kickback. We certainly would appreciate it. As well as our Discord link down there. If you want to click that and join the community, we do a lot of talking over there. We've got a lot of brewing stuff going on at the moment. I think we have game nights every Saturday, which those have been popping recently. We've even got a fantasy football league going. You wouldn't be able to join that now, obviously, because we're in week 2 of the NFL season. But any cool future stuff like that, I would recommend joining the Discord to get in on that. And then I think the last thing is, that's right. I did put a link to the Wrinkly Brain podcast down there. So yes, go check out the most recent episode. We've moved that to a second channel. If you were watching that and you've been missing it the past few uploads, it's because it's on a different channel now. So go click that link down there and go listen to the podcast. It's also on Spotify, and is it on like Apple Music and all the other podcast stuff?
It's just on Spotify for the time being.
Yeah, so
Spotify and the second YouTube channel.
Check that out
also,
on Spotify.
For anyone listening right now, if you're interested in podcasts, I highly recommend listening to the next one. We're having a very special guest on it. You won't want to miss it. I'm not going to spoil it, though, because I do want it to be a surprise.
Oh, yeah, no, this is a really, really cool guest.
Mm-hmm. Very spicy one.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. I think that's all the stuff I need to talk about. Like I said, we are getting into custom commanders today. So before I flip us over to the custom commanders, I just wanted to say we are going to be talking about what we like about the cards, probably what we would change about the design, how we would build a deck maybe. We have 29 submissions, so we're probably going to spend too much time on each individual one. But we're going to try to talk about them fully so that we get the full breadth of the card. We don't just pass right over it.
Yeah.
All right, so let me switch us over to our first submission. Or is it 29? I think it was 28 actually, because I think there was a duplicate submission.
Oh, so never mind. Then we can take 30 minutes for each one.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. That was the breaking point.
This is
classic
24 hours.
29 was the breaking point.
30 minutes per commander? Sounds like we're working on the Zer scale.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so our first submission here was just submitted by Ryan Smith, so you'll kind of see the format as we go into this first one. We'll have the credits below and the card just in the center. Yes, this is a default Google Slides theme. How did you guess? Graphic design is my passion. So yes, our first submission here is from Ryan Smith. This card is Dakra set, pact bound. It costs 2 generic, a white, and a black. Thanks, Nicholas. We love to hear that. But yes, 2 generic, white, and a black. He is a human warlock, and he has 2 abilities. The first being Otherworldly Patron. When this enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-human legendary creature card from your hand or any graveyard. And then Pact Weapon. As long as this is modified, it has each activated ability of each creature exiled by it. So the wording there would be as long as Dakra set is modified, it would have each. Which I'm not blaming anybody for having imperfect templating.
We're not going to worry about anybody not having an exact Oracle text hammered out.
Yeah.
get across the idea of the card.
Yeah, because magic templating can be very weird sometimes. But yeah, no, we understand this. And then Dakra is a 3/2. So this seems like it could kind of be a Voltron-y thing, but also I think you get a lot of activated ability combo shenanigans here.
Yeah, my brain hops immediately to like cast your commander, sack it, cast it again, or like reanimate it.
I mean,
and try to hit combos, right?
Yeah.
Like you just immediately try to hit some kind of like untap combo and a tap combo, well, untap and tap, or just any combination of activated abilities that, if put on one permanent, would be a problem.
Yeah, you get like maggots of the coffers, and then probably need something else to.
It does say non-human.
It says non-human, and it does say legendary. I think the big
Oh,
card
that's
to talk
right, yeah.
about is Asmodeus, with just having pay 3 black, draw 7 cards.
Yeah, that seems
Right.
pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
My
and
big
you're
thing
also.
is, I think,
Sorry, go ahead.
I think just looking at it, I think you're
these were
putting
submitted
yourself
earlier.
too
We had
many
the
hoops to jump through.
Sorry, Schmackle, we had this running for like 2 weeks. Submissions have already been done for it, so sorry you've missed the submission date on this one.
But
we might
We
do
definitely,
might
that.
actually do
future,
this in
though.
the future, though. Yeah.
yeah, we might do more in the
Also,
future.
with-
So go follow us on Twitter if you want to make sure to see that.
With it being Asmodeus, my only thought is, Mom, can we stop off and get Gristlebrand? Mom, we have Gristlebrand at home.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely, Crystal Brennan.
And I will say you're in white too, so you get blank spells like Ghostly Flicker, Ephemerate, in the sort.
So, I love that you guys are talking about doing all these flickering things and trying to like stack up the abilities, because there is one very important thing you're missing as to why that actually doesn't work as the card is printed.
I mean, you have to have it modified first before it actually does anything, even
No.
with all the stuff as exiled by
It's a new object every time it enters.
Sure. Okay.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I guess in my brain, I immediately hopped to like, if I was gonna do this, I would put like some wording to make it to where exiled by creatures named Akreset or
Yeah.
whatever.
So the thing to work with here is we just need a counter, right? There's a good reason that Dothy Voidwalker puts a counter on things.
Yeah, give
and
them
there's
like
good
a
reason
pact
why
counter or something.
Right.
Yeah.
the card this is most similar to is Marisol the Pretender.
Yes.
And Marisol the Pretender puts things into cage counters. Puts cage counters on the things that it exiles, but it also gets to work with artifacts. As it stands, this commander reminds me a lot of Marisol. It's slightly weaker than Marisol, but you're also playing in black-white instead of playing in Grixis, so it's a different flavor, and I like that.
Yeah, so I guess getting into things we would change. Yeah, definitely make it to where you get around the new object problem. Unless that's a specific balancing choice, which I don't feel like it is, but maybe it is.
Because it says each creature exiled by it, I assume that that wasn't intentional, because otherwise you're really like narrowing in on having a Panharmonicon to make this work or something.
Yeah, or
right?
some weird like aura that lets
This-
you act like. Go ahead, Cody.
This almost feels like Kethis, where you're like incentivized to play legendary creatures specifically.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely like
Yeah.
a legendary creature.
This may be better in the 99 than it is a standout commander.
If it gave the counters so that it can like continually stack up as the game goes out, I don't see it as like an underwhelming commander.
Mhm.
I just feel like for me it falls under this kind of like wide range of commanders that are a weird combo commander, so you're not fast enough to be like competitive, and you're slow enough that you're not really doing anything until you're just winning the game, so it can lead to like a very difficult like actually finding the right table to play it at,
It could.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Unless
okay.
it's Smooth Brain Game Nights.
Yeah. Bring it to Smooth Brain Game Nights. I'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
I did think one card in particular I do really like with this is Gifter of Immortality.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Because, modified doesn't have to be just 1/1 counters, it can be auras or equipment as well. And Gift of Immortality being an aura means that you can keep sacrificing Dekra to get it back, keep exiling things, and building up more and more things in your exile.
Doing things like flickering and animate dead.
Definitely
Yeah, that would work well too.
That's definitely how I'd build. This is like a little bit of a flicker deck, a little bit of a reanimation deck. And just responding
say
to... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Cameron said it's in any graveyard, which is cool.
Oh.
It does make some interesting board states.
That's true. I was
but we
going
have to try to guarantee you have it, right?
True, yeah. I
feel like with any reanimator deck, you build your deck such that if no one else has any cool stuff in yard, you're not messed up about it. But if they happen to just have a consecrated sphinx in there, or like whatever, just like gimme.
True. I was going to respond to Connor in chat though. I would agree with you in the D&D sense that you can only have one pact a pact with one thing at a time, which I guess this has the D&D set symbol, so that's kind of what somebody was going for. But we have seen people in Magic lore have multiple pacts, i.e., Liliana. She's had 5 packs going at the same time.
I believe it was 4 at one time, right?
4 demons and
Oh, okay.
You could argue that it was one pact with 5 different individuals under the same umbrella.
That's fair.
I mean,
also,
more importantly, we have best man Davriel Kane, who is just packs with everyone.
True. Also, I could see this being you're sending these creatures to your patron as to gain more power, or something.
And when you're done with it, can you send me their cool stuff?
Pretty much, yeah.
I give you the body,
patrons,
you give me the soul. Sound good?
No, yeah, I agree with you on that, Connor. I'm just trying to write my way around it. I see where you're coming from for sure, though. Are we ready to move on to the next one then?
Do we want to give a rating or anything, or chat? Do you want to give a rating on this? How you feel about it?
I think we could give a rating, but only if it's on the flavor of the card. That's the only one I'm good for.
Oh, I like the flavor on this a lot, actually.
Flavor-wise.
Flavor, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's about where I would be on it as well.
I'd agree with that.
Playability, I think
I would play this card.
I'd play it. On a scale of 1 to 10. Let's use casual. Let's not add CEDH, because obviously that would be just dumb. I'd put this at a 6.
That's about where I would go. If you make the change to include some type of counter in exile, to let it stack up the abilities to give it that little bit of bump in power, I would put this at a 7.
I agree with that, yeah.
It's a really nice card if you make that one small change.
Yeah. I want my rating system to just be, would I play this card? And my answer to this one is yes, I would play this card.
I agree with that. I'm kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
I would play it.
All right, well, let's move on to number 2.
Oh,
which is sorry.
One person did ask, do we ever plan on having a do we ever plan on having a gameplay video with custom commanders?
It is something we talked about when we opened up the custom commander stuff. We don't really have a time when we would record it, but it's definitely something we're considering.
Yeah, we're not sure.
Yes.
But it's potentially in the pipeline.
Yeah, it's on our radar. We will say that. Okay.
This next submission is the best one in my opinion.
Yeah, so for a little bit of context, one of our members in the Discord, Y2A Alkus, we were talking about German bakeries, and then he decided to make this custom card. Because I think we were also talking about doing custom card stuff at the same time.
A little bit of context there. A little bit of context.
So this is a little bit of an inside joke, but also turned out to be just a really cool card. So this is Alkus the Breadmaster. It costs 2 generic in white. It is a human peasant, and when Alkus the Breadmaster enters the battlefield, create a food token for each time you cast a commander from the command zone this game. And then white, green, black, and tap it. Sacrifice X foods. Create an XX white avatar creature token with haste and lifelink, where X is the number of foods you sacrifice this way. Ends up 4/4.
So Logan,
yes.
Real quick, you missed the context. The reason we were talking about German bakeries was because I wanted to make a foot-long PB&J.
Oh, I forgot.
And I had no idea where to get the bread. And Alkus, who, by the way, is equally as fast as Magic Spoilers at spoiling cards. That dude is fast.
He
join our
Discord.
Discord.
Our spoilers hype
spoiler
show.
Season. If you want to know when it comes out, join our Discord. Follow Alkus. He'll post it. But this commander speaks right to my heart. Not only is the functionality of it good, but the flavor. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. So the one thing I wish this thing had is choose a background, because it would count towards the commander cast from the command zone. And I don't know if you guys agree with that, but like, I just want the not partner because I think that'd be too much. But I feel like choose a background just fits for this one.
On the caveat that there is a bread-related background.
Yeah, I think is there like what Master Chef like you like
Also,
you have to pair
There is
Master Chef with
Master
this.
Chef. You could be Master
Oh,
Chef.
perfect. Is that in the correct? Because I feel like actually, whatever. 4-color food is not going to break the meta. I was just like, wait a minute, scary.
If there was a background for a mill, I would take that for flavor as well. But for functionality, I think I don't know. You're pretty good colors. I don't know if you necessarily need the 4th color.
Yeah, I would probably
Then
just
again,
take
I'm not
Master
so
Chef
sure
for the
of
meme.
food production. Yeah, that's fair actually. We don't want playability here. We want flavor only.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what backgrounds I would even like if I was going for just pure power. Like what background would go best with this? Is there anything that like cares about like tokens?
What's the one that people pair with Abdel Adrian? Does
I
that
don't know.
one specifically say when your commander enters?
Okay, I just looked up stuff. Agent of the Iron Throne would actually be
Yeah,
great.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would probably be doing something like I think it's Street Urchin, just so you get red at that point. But like, honestly, I don't want to do this as a 4-color commander. I'm just interested in evaluating as it is.
Yeah, this is super cool. I mean, I guess is there anything else? Do you guys agree with me that you would want to add choose a background to this?
I would just play it as is.
Yeah, I think it's still great as is for sure.
Yeah, I think I would just play this as is. I'm not sure I'd want a background honestly for this card. I mean,
my big thing is that it's going to be really tough to get off the ground because at base it is a 4-mana 4/4 that makes 1 token the first time.
Yep.
Which is like you can pay for the next turn and make a 1/1. Like I feel like it would really depend on how like the rest of the deck would end up looking. You know what I mean?
we're also in prime colors for adding additional tokens, creating more than just 1 token.
For sure.
And I think we're in green and white as well. That's one thing that we do have to remember.
Yeah, I want more food support in future sets.
Yeah,
I would love food support. I think when we go back to Eldraine, I think we'll get a lot of food support.
Yeah.
I want Asmo in Pioneer, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, Guillaume is great in this deck, Cameron. I agree with that.
Guillaume is great in general, but Alkus the Breadmaster, 10 out of 10 on flavor.
Oh yeah, I love this. You can also play this as a blink deck because you can blink Alkus and make more food tokens.
Sure.
What else am I? Well, I was trying to think. You're in green, so you get good ramp colors.
So here's my thing.
Yes.
Evaluating this card at base, if you strip back the flavor for a second, I'm not actually a big fan of this card because it's very weak.
Yeah.
You've got a 4-mana 4/4 who function that ETBs and makes a food token, which is a low value token, right? Yeah. And then you're spending 4 mana. If you sacrifice just the 1 food, you get a 1/1 avatar with haste and lifelink. Not flying, not vigilance. It has haste, which is a little unusual, although haste is secondary in green and black, so it's not impossible to see it. It's a little weird.
What?
Honestly, I think you could if it wasn't for the fact that the activated ability is giving you your color identity, I would just make this like 1 generic mana and have this build.
Hear me out. We make the activated ability white and then hybrid Golgari.
Yeah, that's good. That'll do. Or just make it hybrid Golgari.
Yeah, I was about to say you can push it even farther.
The way I'm thinking about this card, right? Like the way you'd want to play it is you'd want to maybe use, like an Ashnod's Altar to sacrifice it to get mana, and then maybe to, cast it again. Like ideally, you want to cast it 3 times, and then hopefully have a way to blink it. So like it'll create 3 food for every time it comes in. Since it's for each time you've cast a commander. So if you cast it 3 times, you get 3 food, and then you just try to blink it as many times as possible. Create something big and then reoccur that value. That might be a way you can use it. But I agree that it's definitely a setup commander.
It definitely needs
a tap on the activated ability.
That's
that's
probably a little easier. Well, I don't know if you're sacrificing it. I'm not sure if it's necessary to remove the tap ability.
Yeah, my thing on removing the tap ability would probably now start really opening you up into some weird Phyrexian altar loops.
Yeah.
And I do kind of like it being
It would
gated
allow for
behind a
some
tap.
loot,
I think just making it hybrid Golgari for the ability is like a good way to leave it. Would you change the keywords on the token if you made it hybrid Golgari? Like, would you keep it haste lifelink?
Still a white creature that's making it for the most part, right? So
yeah. Connor said, what if it was twice the number? I think if you're using other cards to double the amount of tokens you get, you already kind of get that effect. So I'm not sure if it would
and
help.
You definitely are playing those in this deck.
Yeah, so like, you cast it 3 times, you have something that doubles it, boom, every blink is 6 food. That could get pretty big to just slap somebody clean out the game. And of course, Cameron said you can't even make a token the turn you come down, but that's why we run Swift Foot Boots and Lightning Greaves.
Yeah. So here's another one that I think would be kind of interesting as a line of text on this card. It's already got plenty of words on it, but one more is if you would make a food token, make that many food tokens +1.
I think I'm okay with that.
Alexander says if you play KCI, a sack outlet, pitiless plunder, and then a token doubler or Tesa, you go infinite death triggers.
If you had I'm assuming that that's removing the tap from the sack. Is
yes.
Yeah.
If you add blue, you could maybe do some like intruder alarm shenanigans.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm honestly really kind of like this commander. I think it just needs a little bit of polishing.
Yeah.
And this could be something, it wouldn't be overly strong, but it would be a fun, flavorful commander to play. Like, I kind of enjoy this, actually.
Yeah, at base, I like the idea of Abzan food.
Abzan food sounds like a ton of fun, yeah.
Yes.
Sounds like
and
shepherd's
bread. Delicious.
Yeah, so
I think we're ready to move on now.
Yeah. What do we rate? What do we rate it? Give me out of 10.
7. I like it. There's things you can do. You're not kind of like narrowed down into a specific thing. I mean, you're in great colors for other support, and it does its thing. And if it does its thing, it does it well. I'm going to give it, 6, 7. I think if you cleaned up maybe 6 if you cleaned up all the abilities, you give it a 7.
I feel like a 5. It's pretty average for me.
I would play this if we change the ability for sure.
I would play the archetype. I don't think that this commander in its current form is the commander for that archetype quite yet.
Yeah, fair enough.
Jake's trying to pioneer the whole meta.
Abzan food. All right, we can go to the next one. So our third submission is from Connor Melville, who I believe is in chat right now. Hello, Connor. And I did get the updated one you sent me. This is the one you sent me in Discord. This is Rawshan Future Seer. She costs 2 generic and then 2 more hybrid Azorius. She is a human wizard. She's a 1/3, and she reads the first instant or sorcery you play from your hand each turn gains rebound. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, you gain 2 life and draw a card. If that spell would go to the graveyard, exile it instead. So this works with like Fertel as well. At least the second half of this.
This gives me like major Oloro vibes. I butcher that name every time. With the gaining 2 life and drawing a card.
I mean, a little
also,
bit.
Also, this is vying to replace Taigam as the rebound tribal quote-unquote commander.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Taigam Ojutai Master. Yeah. It's not good, but like people who like that mechanic, I've seen people play it. But the whole goal there is to like sneak in as big of spells as you can, because it also has the text that instant sorcery and dragon spells can't be countered. Well, that you control can't be countered. So you're trading the downside that Taigam has to have attacked and the upside that Taigam gives uncounterability to get guaranteed rebound and also the extra card advantage from casting a spell from exile, which opens you up to other things besides being strictly, if I do the thing, then I can rebound spells.
Yeah. Like Taigam, this works extremely well with extra turn spells. It's a little bit I'm iffy on that in terms of a balancing standpoint. Also, as another thing, so I'm going to rant about hybrid mana because I disagree with R&D on their statement of how they use hybrid mana. But so the main purpose of hybrid mana is this spell could be either blue or it could be white. I'm a firm believer that this spell could not be mono white.
That's fair.
So I would just make this cost cost Azorius instead of costing hybrid, because it just doesn't need to be easier to cast for any reason.
The funny thing is, I think the version that I was sent before Connor sent me, the updated one actually was tuned on Azorius.
Connor, why do you do this to me?
You prophesized that it would annoy you, Jason, and you solely submitted it for that reason.
You've done it. Another couple nitpicky things. When you play from your hand, this just should be just cast. And the last ability, I actually really like the wording here. When you cast something from exile, you gain 2 life and draw a card. And if that spell would go to the graveyard, card in this situation, but if that card would go to the graveyard, exile it instead. That way, when you are working with rebound does immediately send the thing to the graveyard. Instead, it will be exiled and it'll just stay exiled. I do really like that.
Yeah.
This could be a utility piece in like wizard decks, but it also small nitpicky thing for me. I'd like to see this as either a 1/4 or a 2/4 instead of
I
a
do
1/4.
think the stats could be a bit more beefy for sure.
I think 2/4 would be where I'd want to see it. Having
Honestly,
that extra toughness could keep it safe from regular things.
Weirdly enough, I think Connor nailed the stat line for me. As vulnerable as this card is, you got to keep in mind that your first instant or sorcery, you are getting card advantage by copying it, along with a mana advantage, and then you are also drawing a card and gaining life for that first spell. So you were in a sense, you were getting 2 cards in effect and mana advantage just for casting 1 instant or sorcery each turn, might I add.
Sure.
Yeah. I do like that it says if the spell will go to the graveyard, exile it instead, because Connor mentioned that's to avoid infinite extra turns, which I appreciate, because infinite extra turns is not really fun at all. I did say somebody say that
not playing the game is
True.
not fun.
I did say somebody earlier said that this might have a hard time ending games, which on the card I would tend to agree with, but it's also generating a lot of card advantage. It is more dirtily. And you would think, I should just play this as draw and control, but I actually disagree. I think this is instant, you want a lot of instant cantrips in your hand.
Yeah, I was about to just say, one thing that makes this very different than Tygam is that Tygam wants to cast big impactful spells. This looks like, since it does have that each turn, gains the point where you want to get on your upkeep 4 rebounds, right? So you want to cast an instant or sorcery on each player's turn, so you want smaller spells since you do not have all of the mana.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Do we feel that this could be better if it was red-blue versus blue-white?
I like it as blue-white. I feel like that fits the card.
I could think it could also do very well as red-blue. For instance, I think it might do more on the trigger side. You might get incidental value with other cards that care about how many times you cast a certain spell or cast spells overall in your turn.
I think
where I feel blue-white
purposes,
doesn't have that much.
For current game mechanic purposes, rebound is strictly blue-white from what I understand currently. Yeah,
someone, Flaming Draco here, is saying break this with Squee. That was one of the things I was concerned about when I first saw this, was how does this interact with a Mist Hollow Griffin?
Right.
And
yeah.
Fortunately, you can't quite break it, but you're close. So
yeah, you're not in green, so no food chain. Thank God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no food chain. You do get to play
Rawshan
into exile if you want to, but whatever. Honestly, I think this makes sense as in blue-white. I'm perfectly fine with it in blue-white. Honestly, I think it's a relatively good design, and
yeah, I think it's not bad at all.
Fun.
I think it's on the upper end spectrum.
Yeah, it pushes some buttons where I'm there's danger here.
Sure.
But I don't think it's quite dangerous enough that I'm not okay with it.
I mean, if you can go to your upkeep and rebound 4 spells, how are you not just in control of that game at that point?
Yeah, you can set up some wild storm turns with this.
But it's a very easy, you have to have this setup. It's not just you play the commander and win. You have to have things to go with it.
Yeah.
Things to profit off of it.
Yeah, but
So
even if it's just like protection and interaction that draw you a card. Oh no, I played like Defiant Strike or whatever to protect my commander. All right, now during my next upkeep, because I'm also going to play these other like cheap little cantrip type spells, I'm going to draw 4 cards. I don't even care what the effect does, and my storm count's already 4. It's kind of just like a very easy, very intense way to start a combo turn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do some wild stuff.
For the most part, you're not using your graveyard. That does shut off a lot of like traditional storm lines. So this is like medium storming, which is kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, what's your payoff here? I mean, besides like brain freeze, if you wanted to go that route, what's your storm payoff?
That's Mind's Desire. Every time we
Yeah,
cast a spell
I
with
don't
Mind's
wanna do
Desire, we'll
that.
draw a card. So
I hate Mind's Desire.
Oh yeah. Well, no. So, at least it only says from exile. Okay, good.
mhm.
Yes.
I for like a quarter second, my brain went, "Oh no, please don't draw a card every time you storm." No.
Just cast from exile. So yeah, you can do some fun stuff. But like I said, Foretell also like draws you a card.
Rest in peace, Ashnod's Altar, Commander Orrery, and Beardy. SMH, this simple combo, you will win. You're
Too
100%
bad we are
right,
not
fighting
in
right
red. No, this is a fun card. I personally wouldn't play because it's not my style of deck, but I would recommend it to somebody to play.
Mhm.
That
I would
person
play this
being
deck.
Ethan, but
Giving it a score out of 10, I'm at like 8.5.
Yeah, and I'd say 8. I'm a big fan of this card. I really actually like it.
Mhm.
Only thing I don't like about it is just the stat line a little bit, but I see where you're coming from when you say your earlier points, Jason. I think it's good. I'm going to go with 8.
Now, counterpoint,
Aether Flux is
knowledge
great, yes.
pool.
Oh, knowledge pool.
Excellent.
Yeah, you could do that with
Makes
this
this
deck.
card a 10. This commander draws me cards out of 10. That's where I land.
Mhm.
Draws me cards and copies spells. I would play the absolute hell out of this card.
Hellbent Commander. You can play what's the red god from Amonkhet that I cannot think of the name of? Hazaret?
Hazaret?
You want she's terrible, but you can play her if you want a Hellbent Commander.
There are plenty of good commanders for getting you hellbent, not too many for rewarding
Yeah,
you.
rewarding you, that's the problem, yeah.
That would be a cool archetype, though.
Yeah,
But-
well,
Where
there's
are you
somebody's prompt for next time we do this, then. All
That
right,
card's going to have to be crazy good, right? Because
Yeah,
otherwise
because
you're just...
you're
like,
negative
Card
four.
advantage is just very, 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 like, tied to you winning the game.
Yeah, you did
Another
a
big
good job, Connor. We are fans. Okay, but next one is submitted by Senpoka, and this is Zaxelos. I liked this one when I read it, but we'll see how you guys feel. Zaxelos Idol Devourer. It costs a Golgari, and it is a snake horror, which says it's a 1/1 as well. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Zaxelos. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's just a weird name. Zaxelos Idol Devourer, unless you sacrifice an artifact. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, put X 1/1 or -1/-1 counters on target creature, where X is the sacrifice artifact's mana value. I do like that this doesn't let you just abuse treasures, because the artifacts need to actually have mana values.
Oh yeah, that is fair.
Yeah. I'm not immediately sold on this. It's a little bit... It's hard to make this work, in my mind. And the main thing I jump to when I look at this, I'm like, instead of thinking in Commander, I'm immediately thinking like modern, how can I break Hardened Scales Affinity?
Yeah.
Right, like modular is the mechanic I think about when I see this.
Ooh, yeah, this is a really interesting modular commander.
But you have to sacrifice an artifact at your upkeep. That's a pretty significant cost.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
I think if it had the option to pay mana and sacrifice an artifact to get this effect, it would be a lot better. I like the idea that it's gated behind costing you something, but I think that if it just had an activated ability to sacrifice an artifact without tapping it, it would be much better. I think at that point, I would be sold on wanting to try to brew this.
Yeah.
I think needing a generator and a way to like sacrifice more often than once at your upkeep, because that's just not often enough. Once one trigger at your upkeep is just not enough to.
I mean,
the
you're,
deck function.
if you're running other cards to do that, I think it's fine.
Yeah, Glissa exists. Yeah, I
Yeah,
immediately when we looked at this, I pulled up Glissa's on the Glissa the Trader.
Let's say we combine the effects this guy has into one sack outlet. What would you cost that sack outlet at? Like 2 generic, a hybrid Golgari? Like, what are we looking at?
I mean, if you do generic, you're opening yourself up to, generic sack lines that generate mana. I don't know where I'd land on that. Like I said, I like the card. Overall, I just don't know if you proxy it behind Golgari colors. I feel like you kind of limit it a little bit. So maybe if it was just singular green plus some generic cost, that might be a lot better.
Also, one other thing that's kind of interesting on this design is I don't think I would put its ability on as a sack outlet. I do like having the idea of sacrificing an artifact and having that as a trigger somewhere, but I don't like it as costing my commander if I don't do it. So that's awkward. But one other thing we're talking about, you can't abuse treasures with this. There is a way to abuse treasures with this, which is you still put 0/1/1 counters or -1/-1 counters on something. So if you have hardened scales in play, you will put a counter on it for every treasure you sacrifice.
Because it prompts another one, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that even goes so far that I would call it abusing it, though.
No. Well, it's important when you start getting into cards like Workhorse and Pentavus and so on and so forth.
Sure.
But those are really high mana value artifacts. So I'm like, there are ways to abuse artifact tokens with this. It just requires specifically cards like Hardened Scales.
And it is a form of removal in itself, too. I really like this card, actually. I think the few tweaks would make this something that I'm interested in playing for sure.
Yeah, but
I definitely like the theme of it. I like where it came from, because I do agree that, a proper green-black artifact commander is something that we should get in the future. I think, something finely tuned to that. I just think that if we adjusted how the card functions in regards to just sacking, I think it would make it, it'd break the barrier for me.
Yeah. And I will say, Cameron said something earlier about green-black artifacts not being as supported as an archetype, and I agree that it would be cool to have more commanders of this style.
For sure. I mean, also, you could just run artifact creatures that care about being sacrificed, like Solemn Simulacrum or anything of that sort, and you just get extra value out.
Or like
that would be
like
how I would build it up. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, we have Visera Seer, as he said in the chat. Visera Seer, being able to sacrifice things to get extra value. I think, there's room for it. I just think it needs to be tuned, but I'm a big fan of it.
Spencer, I don't think you've made this OP, and I think there's been some good considerations into how it's going. Also, it's a 2-mana commander, and 2-mana commanders are always one of those lanes where it's like, it's really hard to balance them, because you get to have their ability so consistently and without downsides. Sometimes it's really awkward. So I'm just trying to, I'm still racking my brain around what the deck would actually look like, and if there's too many moving pieces. Overall, I think it's a relatively good commander.
Yeah, I think it would be a pretty unique deck.
Interested in seeing the next submission, what you come up with if you choose to piggyback off this archetype. I'm interested in seeing that for sure.
Yeah.
But
as it is, though, functionality, I think I'm going to give it flavor. I'm going to give it a 6.5. I just, funny enough, like Big Snake Horrors. But in play, as it is written right now, I'm going to give it a 5.
Yeah.
It doesn't give me enough innately to want to play it. With those changes, I'd give it a 6.5.
I'd give it a 6 just as it is right now. I think there's potential for it to be better. I'm just, again, racking my brain around the balancing component of this as to how good it is. Is it rewarding enough? Is it not rewarding enough? Is it too functional? Is it not functional enough? Right? I can't say too much, only having looked at it for 5 minutes.
Yeah. I give this I would attempt to build this deck and hopefully get to play it, because I'm not sure if I'd be smart enough to make this deck work.
I would definitely, this would be one of those decks that I just put the shell together and constantly slot out cards till I found what I like. But
Yeah.
that's also coming from the gentleman who I just love vehicles and artifacts in general. I like those decks. But I think we're ready to move on, Logan. Slide
alright.
me that next one, baby.
Next is from I've Earned It, who's also in the Discord. I don't know if he's here or not, but he's been to the game nights before. This is Protoform X. It costs 2 and a Demir. And it is a slime horror. Some more horrors for you, Cuddy. Not a snake this time. That's good to hear, Spencer. We will definitely just keep following this. It has a. I think this is a. I don't think this is a ability that actually exists in Magic, so it's pretty cool to have a new keyword being made. Also, hatred. This creature cannot be the target of spells or abilities you control. So it's reverse hexproof, which is again super interesting. And then Protoform X has all activated abilities of all creatures in all graveyards, and it is a 2/3. And I want to read the flavor text because I think it tells more about the hatred thing. We could not stop what we created. No one can. Deranged scientist Arcanos. So there's definitely some lore here.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 things for sure.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, I love the new keyword. I think that is, in my opinion, unless somebody here can hit me with the combo, I think that's a great way to kind of bar this commander and keep him from being just extremely powerful. But I'm also curious as to see how are we winning with this? What cards do we need in the graveyard to win this?
Yeah.
Necrotic Ooze, hooray!
Woo! Real quick, John. The submissions are closed currently. We opened up a forum for it a few weeks ago, and we closed it. But follow us on Twitter or join our Discord, and you'll see us post whenever we open this up another time, sometime in the future.
Join the Discord.
Yes, join the Discord.
Spencer, yeah, I think partners, if you have a partner idea, that's fine. We might need to change it so that you can submit 2 items to make that happen, but...
Yeah,
I think 2 items would be fine. We just might need to break it up into 1 or 2 streams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
About this commander, I like it. Does anybody have any ideas?
What Necrotic Ooze combos... Do any Necrotic Ooze combos still work with the hatred keyword?
Yes.
That's what I want to know. That's what I was saying at first. What do we need to have to win?
Phyrexian Tower and Walking Ballista. Okay.
Phyrexian Devourer, right?
You know, Connor, you're on top of it like always. That is how you do it.
And Draco, I'm not sure what people use for this, but I'm sure if you Google like custom MTG card maker, you could probably find something that works.
Mm-hmm.
Join the Discord and then ask people how they made it.
That's also an option.
Sorry, I'm a used car salesman for our Discord. I like interacting with all y'all.
He's trying to get us to 200 members in the Discord.
I just want to have more people to talk to on game night.
Fair enough.
Wait, I'm confused as to how Phyrexian Tower and Walking Ballista...
It's Phyrexian Devourer.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Phyrexian Devourer, right.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think I would change anything about this card. At least, there's something I see that I would want to change. It's mostly just because I don't know much about Necrotic Ooze stuff. I don't know.
Well, here's my deal on this. I don't think Necrotic Ooze should be a commander, especially at 4 mana.
That's fair.
I think that's incredibly valid.
What would be the CMC we want then? 5 or 6?
Well, we just got a new, Necrotic Ooze commander that only works for artifact creatures and is 6 mana. And people are talking about how busted that is.
So 8 mana?
No, I'm saying
we're not hitting it with a Violus cost.
No. I personally think that that commander, that new commander, I can't remember his name, Tracine or whatever.
I don't remember.
Trazyn the Infinite.
Trazyn
4 colorless, 2 black. Has all the activated abilities of all artifacts in the graveyard. He's very broken. The only thing is, he does not have haste.
Yep.
So that is what everybody's brewing around.
Yeah. And the cool thing about putting this hatred keyword on it means that you can't just Swiftfoot Boots Lightning Greaves this to get it going. You can do some things with, say, I'm blanking on the name of the drawbridge that taps to give your creatures haste.
Crashing Drawbridge.
Yeah, you can still work with that to give this thing haste. My main thing is tap abilities, of course, are the stronger thing, and the hatred ability balances that out. but it does not balance out what we already know we can do with Phyrexian Devourer. And I'm concerned that that is too good, because you literally can just go Buried Alive, play Protoform X, win the game.
Schmackle, yes, that is from the Warhammer 40k Necron Dynasty deck. Trazen Infinite is, that is.
Yeah, so I guess my question then is, how do we fix this? Is this at the beginning of your upkeep, exile something from your graveyard, it gains all those activated abilities, or what are you thinking?
I think if you do that, you just neuter the card. I'm not interested in dimming down the flavor of that.
Yeah.
Also,
maybe. Go ahead, Jason.
Immediate first thing I would do is make it so it only has the activated abilities of creatures in your graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair.
So I think that's a small step you can take that backwards. Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. I think there is something redeemable here. My immediate inclination is immediately just put it to 5 mana instead of having it at 4 mana as a starting point, and making the change to only creatures in your graveyards. Because if it gets all of the things from including your opponent's graveyards, well, your opponents aren't going to have that many activated abilities. We tend to use static abilities, triggered abilities to make things work. I am concerned about how easy it becomes to assemble some combos, especially with Walking Ballista. Just
Paladimir and Pilipala, Connor says, makes infinite mana here.
Yeah, this is another situation.
Morphling in any creature that taps for more than 2 mana as well.
John had something there, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, like I said, this is one of those cog machine decks. You need multiple wheels to be moving to win.
Yes.
I am okay with it being as it is. If you increase the mana on it, if you brought it to, I think 6 would be what I would consider this to be fair as. If you made it 6 mana in creatures in your graveyard specifically, I think this would be a very solid contender for any commander card that I would want to build.
Yeah.
The hatred on it is really what keeps it from just being too strong.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part of this card, is the new keyword, because that's really interesting.
Oh, for sure.
Is there anything else we want to talk about? Yeah, Buried Alive makes things go real fast with this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not much different than like Greasefang wanting to Buried Alive cards. It's just these win you the game.
Yeah, no, this one's on the spot. Yeah.
But, Parhelion do be doing things, and now with the new Warhammer 40k decks, I can also just get the Titan. But I agree, in this slot, Buried Alive can just win you the game if you're not careful.
But also, this deck also just does this commander just doesn't function with the rest in peace and play. So who knows?
Yeah, this is like the poster child
honestly,
for play graveyard hate in your decks. All of them.
Yes.
I don't care.
So the rating for flavor, for me personally, I'm giving it a 10.
I love the
The
flavor
card,
too,
the slime horror, the hatred keyword. I'm keeping it a solid 10. On play, with the changes made, honestly, I want to give this thing an 8. I want to give it an 8.
I would go like 9 or 10 power level. Like this thing is gonna be brutal.
It's really strong. It's hard for me to give a fair rating right now, because I'm still just going through all the ways this can go wrong.
Yeah.
Because also I'm sitting here thinking you can put Kuro Pit Lord in the graveyard and just have access to removal spells that just pay life for removal. There's a lot of things you can do with this. So I think as it is, legitimately, if we didn't make any changes to this card, I would probably rate this a 3 or a 4. Because it's just, it's too easy to break this, even with the hatred keyword on it. But if you make changes to it, I think you can iterate on the design and get it to a 9 or a 10. I just don't know where it would be.
That's why I kind of gave it the 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I would play some kind of iteration of this if it was not absolutely broken in half.
Mm-hmm.
I would only not play this commander because I dislike no plan B decks.
That's fair.
And this is, at least in its current iteration, a very hard. Well, if they answer you, you can't. You're not playing Magic the Gathering with them.
Yeah, that's a bolded, italicized, underlined A.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready to? Want me to move
I think
on?
it is.
Next up we have from Dom, Jesse, Lord of Bears, which costs XX, a red and a green.
This is a 10.
Is a human noble. Yeah, this is just a picture of some dude's friends. Anyway, he is a human noble. What if you lost a life every time it tapped? That is interesting, Alex. I am interested by that design.
It doesn't help with the Phyrexian Obliterator.
This is a fair point. But yes. So Jesse's a human noble, notably just a creature. So we'll just assume this is a legendary creature.
I think that's intended.
Yes. When Jesse is cast, create X 2/2 green bear creature tokens with haste. All right, this is bear tribal. I already love it. Jesse costs X less when where X is half the number of creatures you control rounded up. So this is very much a tokens deck in my opinion then. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures. If you do, create a copy of that spell that is non-legendary. And this is a 2/2.
So, first
Why?
thing,
So
besides
fast.
it being a legendary creature, and I'm confused about the line of text. It says whenever you cast a creature spell, the copy is non-legendary.
Mm-hmm.
So
Should
it's
the text. Should it be solely cast a legendary creature spell?
No.
From what that looks like a piece of borrowed thing from like Spark Double and stuff like that. They will say it is non-legendary, and instead of saying if it was legendary, make it non-legendary, they will just say that it is not legendary when you copy it, so that way you can use legendaries with it.
Yeah, it's just following recent like WotC conventions of getting around the legend rule, which like just remove the legend rule if you're gonna do that, because they've been printing so many cards that undermine that rule lately. I think it's kind of goofy, but
I am not a huge fan of this card. I like the bear travel. I don't know if the last line of text is necessary.
Counterpoint: Kobold Storm.
Okay,
That is
you
an
sold me.
option.
I love Kobold
Never
Storm,
mind.
honestly. I
I was gonna
played
say
it.
this commander is a pretty nuts food chain commander.
yeah, it definitely is.
Absolutely is.
So I would probably not even build this for power, because I would just like what I do with Rux, where I ignore half the card, and just build this as tokens with bears, and have fun with that, because that sounds like fun to me. But yeah, I think if you lean into the that last ability, then I think you can do some shenanigans.
Yeah, I don't really get why you would like. I don't think you really lock yourself into bears by playing this commander, really.
No.
Oh no, you
Because
don't. Yeah.
You are. That is like purely just the token. From what I'm looking at, this is what if Conspire could copy any creature you ever cast, and then we say, "Excuse me."
So, in addition to what you're saying on the doubling creatures things, we just had Miram printed, and people complain about that being too good.
Which this is a slightly different, because this requires something else to happen, rather than
That on
just.
turn 2, though.
But also, my commander's a
Yeah.
2-drop.
That's fair.
You don't have to pay the X at all.
You do not
Like,
have to pay the
it's
X at all.
very, very good
He was a
points.
green red and double X, but he began as a 0/0. Then one, he'd be a lot worse as a food chain commander, but like you have no obligation to pay more than 2 the first time you cast him, and this is still a very reasonable card.
Yeah. Also, this thing has a cast trigger. It should just be an ETB trigger. You can borrow the templating from Gadwick the Wizen to make it so that the X, when you ETB, you create the effect. This would make it a little more vulnerable to counter spells, which I think is necessary against this card.
I agree.
This card
think,
is bonkers powerful.
Yeah, I think for 2 mana, this is way too good. I would be immediately looking at like bumping up the mana value on this to do something.
Oh,
because
for sure.
Like,
As it is, this card comes down. It's not coming down, I don't think, without just winning the game. Unless you're just playing the deck with the intention that you don't want to win. You just want to create copies of creatures.
yeah,
Like, it's
even,
not coming down without winning.
yeah, even playing this just completely fairly. Let's disregard our Kobold Stored nonsense, our food chain stuff. Right? We're making 2 crater hoofs.
Oh God.
We are probably winning that game.
Yeah,
Correct.
I would agree with that.
I don't see a world where you're not winning that unless the opponent's playing like Angel's Grace or something.
So are we? So what would we change? I guess is where I want to go with this. Would we make this a once a turn ability, or?
I think first thing you do is you make him a 0/0. Like and then like, make him have to like X is his X. Well, sorry, I guess
he comes with plus
X
counters equal to.
Yeah, or you can just make him whatever. However you specifically want to do it. I mean, if you make it, he's a 0/0 and he enters with X +1/+1 counters, then you specifically can't, you can't even like flicker him or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Which I think would help a lot. But, oof. This card needs to cost a lot more for all of the things that it does.
Yeah, legitimately, not even joking. Remove the last ability, you have an okay card.
That's a very fun token stack if you remove the last ability. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Hamza in a sense. It's just tokens instead of 1/1 counters. But Hamza's a decent commander who also costs 6 mana for this effect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was going to say is it either needed to lose lines of text or it needed to be much more expensive. And if it was going to be much more expensive, it needs to be in the realm of 2 green, 2 red, 2 colorless, and then double X. Like, it needs to be much, much heavier costed.
I was even thinking maybe, like, make it a locked-in 6 cost, but it has, like, a fixed number of tokens that it makes.
Give it kicker.
I think the goal is to have the scaling to it, so...
Yeah.
This is also just a commander where you just generate infinite mana and you kill people with hasty bears.
I like that one. I like that part.
Yeah, I don't know what we could change. Like, I think the design is honestly fundamentally flawed.
Okay.
It's doing too many things.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Yes.
I'd be more inclined to say that there are several things that you can fix, but that currently something major has to change.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
exponential limits on 2 mana commanders is never a good spot to be. Thank you, Thrasios. Very cool.
Yeah. So I'm giving this. If it was tweaked and I can make this into a tokens deck with the bear sub theme, I would play this.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it was just Conspire, or like just weird Conspire, which is pretty clear intent for the card, also, that I would play the hell out of this card. But that in its current form, it is just too bonkers to be sitting at any table.
Yes.
Much less it be at a table and it be my fault.
Gutty the Chatinator did not get an at. Logan has failed.
Well, yeah, it's because the new upload bot just decided not to for the first time ever. I should add, decided not to post the video.
Oh, good old.
That's
old
our
YouTube
mistake because YouTube bot does not follow any laws of logic.
This is true.
Yeah, on the rating part, flavor, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. It's got some flavor there. Points that it's just some dude's friends, and mega points for the random lad whose head and shoulders is the only thing poking up.
Oh, now you don't even get
this guy
shoulders,
down
you
here.
just get traps.
Like, I don't know why that kills me seeing that. It's got decent flavor, but yeah, I think I gotta agree with Jason. It's too flawed. I'm in the realm of like a 2. It's trying to do too much.
All right. We can move on to the next one, though.
Barney.
Yeah, we have these two back to back. So yes.
Elder Dinosaur Horror.
Yeah, so this is Barney, Friend of Innocence.
Oh man, I am on this card. This is great.
It's actually kind of an interesting design, which is
2
why
10s back to back. Can you imagine?
Yeah. So Barney, Friend of Innocence, 3 generic, a green and a black. It is an Elder Dinosaur Horror. Hey, we're doing well, Giles. Nice to see you too. And then it reads, when Barney, friend of innocence, enters the battlefield, each opponent puts a friend counter up to one creature they control. Creatures with friend counters have protection from Barney. With the flavor text, I love you, you love me. In the stat line of 15-15.
Yeah, it's too big. If this was like a 10-10, I'd be more inclined. If it was 10-10 and costed 6, I'd love it.
I think their balancing thing is that like each person's going to have something that blocks Barney infinitely as long as you don't. But the thing is, you're in green black. You're like in like the best removal colors.
I'm going to Assassin's Trophy whatever you put that counter on, and you're getting this hug.
And then
you're catching this Barney hug.
the myriad. I mean, what's the free one that I cannot think of right now? The free black spell that exiles a creature.
Deadly Rollick.
Yeah, Deadly Rollick in your hand. You just immediately we don't get to kill somebody immediately because it's a 15-15, not a 21-21. But
also, if they don't have a creature, they're just boned.
Yep.
There's
I
also
like this card. I like this card a lot more if it's templated like the hunted cards, but each person makes a 1/1 with protection from Barney.
I'm a fan of that actually. I think that's a perfect change for this. Yeah.
Because otherwise opponent, your like blue-red spellslinger friend just dies.
Yeah, so I think it's like
if you did that and then changed the power toughness to 12/12, I'd be a huge fan.
Trample exists.
Trample does still exist.
Each opponent makes a 1/1 friend creature token. creature token named friend with like the human subtyping or something.
What
like
if
that.
the creature token gained something like protection from combat damage? Could that solve the trample problem?
That doesn't. No,
it doesn't solve the. It doesn't.
Trample is just allocated over top of it.
Make it a 0-16.
Yeah, with trample, you
give it a wall. Give every person a wall.
But it can only block Barney. No, the other big upside to making a token is that you can have more cursed artwork in the vein of this.
Mm-hmm.
Give people tokens that they are actively made uncomfortable by. Here, you have to have this.
Yes. Oh, that's interesting. In the chat, starts at 5/5, gets a +1/+1 counter for each friendship counter. That is interesting.
Puts it at 8.
So it makes it to where he's bigger the more friends you have.
The more friends you have, and then you have to find some kind of evasion. Yeah. But you're not like in good like flying colors. Menace is an option.
I'm also not a huge fan of. I also don't really think that taking him from a 15-15 down to a 12-12 really matters because he is just going to 2-shot you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen regardless.
Yeah, you're in ramp colors. I think it's cool. I think it's a great card. I like this card. I like the design of it. I think if you tweak it, maybe you give him something higher than a 1/1, maybe a 2/2 with protection. I think that would be something better, you know. 1 damage isn't a whole bunch, but it makes you feel a little bit better when he's cruising over you for game.
Right.
Yeah.
I like this card.
I do like the idea of it being like a hunted design, just because of like
the art deserves it.
Like the idea of hunted Barney is just funny to me. Give him fear because the art deserves it.
For sure.
Yeah, if you change the mana cost, if you increase this, and
you know what?
The abilities I think we've talked about. I think this card's okay.
Duck just said have Barney just not be able to gain trample. You know what? Screw it. Give Barney hatred. Just bring it back.
Bring back hatred.
Honestly, that would be fire. That would be a great keyword for him to have because it would help.
It's also hilarious.
I think it would honestly solve it.
I think it would help a lot.
You think that would solve it?
I think you give him like the haunted mechanic that we're talking about, where everybody gets a 1/1 friend that has protection from Barney, and you give him hatred. I'm a fan.
You make a keyword called haunted just for this, for this awful man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Shroud does work, Connor, but I like the idea of people being able to remove Barney.
I just like hatred.
Yeah.
Others are more than happy to get rid of him. But you, unfortunately,
I want my opponent. I would want the opponents to be able to interact with Barney, which is why I want to give him hatred. With the tweaks we've mentioned, I would in fact play this card. I don't. Where are you guys at?
Flavor, you already know that's a 10 out of 10, baby. On playability with the tweaks, I think honestly, I'm at like an 8 or a 9 for this card.
I am not a fan
with the tweaks.
I am not a fan of combat damage like commanders, so
Yeah.
not a big fan of this guy. Like playability wise. Now, is he a cool deck that I think would be like terrifying but also fun to have at a table I'm at? Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. Is if it's not your style, would you be cool playing against this card? I guess is the other.
Because I think a more prescient question than would I play this card is this card playable? And that answer is obviously yes. A 5 mana for a 15/15. I don't care how many hoops you have to jump through. You'll make it work and you'll be okay. You'll get over it.
Set the hoops
It's
on
not
fire.
even jumping through hoops.
Hey,
It's
why does
going.
this-
It's plowing through them, boys.
Why does this thing dodge Blasphemous Act?
Oh, it does. It does. Make it a 13/13. I don't care.
Make it a 14/14. I want it to
You
live.
wanted to dodge?
I want it to live.
I'm just
Blasphemous
imagining Barney walking through a firestorm. Just
Act. He's burnt. Most of it's burnt. His flesh is
Walks
burned
out
off.
Walks out like a FNAF animatronic.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
let's get this bread and falls over.
He just
Yeah.
says Gregory.
Duck makes a very good point. Edict effects would be absolutely brutal against
Oh
this.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Which I don't know, make them unsackable or something. I don't know. I think we
But
spent
on
enough
the,
time
on
with
the
him.
point, like this is also probably coming down. Even with ramp turn 3, I assume mostly every commander deck that isn't just a spellslinger deck is gonna have another creature. While it wouldn't feel good to sack that other creature, it would keep you from taking 15 straight to the face.
This is
Yeah.
true.
That Goblin Electromancer, you'd like to keep it, but would you like to be dead? No.
He is going underneath the double-decker bus, sir.
Yes.
He is getting in the grinder.
So yes, thank you for this submission, Ryan. I think we're gonna move on to the next
This
one.
is my favorite of all of
This
them
is your
so
favorite
far.
so far.
It is. It beats Prototype X or Protoform X, and it beats Breadmaster, but only because of the haunted image used,
All right, we're moving on to the next
and,
one.
and just the flavor.
Yeah. So yeah, this one's a little bit scuffed, but it's all right.
Okay,
Uh,
I do love the art. Double click
Oh
to
man,
load
this
image.
is great.
So yes, this is from @SnakeBites754. I don't know where that @ is. That's all they told me was @. So it could be Instagram, could be Twitter. I don't know. Maybe they're here and they can explain. I don't know.
You may just have
but
to
with
whisper
eminence.
this into your nearest public restroom.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
they
that's how you get in
they
contact
just
with
they
them.
just emerge. Yeah. Galta cost, but with eminence that says targeting opponent. Targeting opponent creature gives friendship counters cost reduction based on. That's interesting. But anyway, we are talking about Ilvide Core. Hopefully that's the pronunciation the creator wanted. And it cost a 1 generic and 3 black. It is an Ilvide Sacrifice. That's the creature typing. And when Ilvide Core comes into play, you may pay any number of life. Ilvide Core gets a +1/+1 counter for each life paid this way. But any opponent may pay any number of life, any opponent may pay any number of life. If they do, Ilvide Core gets -1/-1 for each life paid this way. Which, I feel like that should be -1/-1 counters.
They can't see the card.
What?
Slideshow's not working.
Hang on. I'm gonna put us on the BRB screen.
There's
real quick.
Barney again. Honestly, the card though, just from what Logan said, I feel like if you were to try to lean into that theme, it needs protection from other players because you want to make them pay the life to remove it, not just okay, cool, you paid 30 life for this. Here's a murder.
Yes. Okay, give me one moment. I'm going to.
More Goblin Electroman slander. Ooh, you're not gonna get a lot of that out of me. I'm a big fan of the Electroman.
Alright, one moment. I am gonna restart my Google Chrome.
I'm a big fan. I'm a bigger fan of the Anarcho Man, but
Connor
The
blames the
Electroman is
YouTube
also
bot,
very
and I agree. YouTube upload bot caused this.
Yeah, YouTube upload bot causes.
Did you say its name 3 times before?
YouTube upload bot.
before
YouTube
this
upload bot.
conversation?
YouTube upload bot.
Oh,
Okay.
we're crashing. It's official.
Why are you being stupid? It's okay. So OBS just isn't picking up anything at all. Let's try
Fun fact while you're trying to work
something.
while you're trying to work that out.
else.
In the show community, there is an episode where they just kind of like casually say Beetlejuice 3 times, and on the third time, a Beetlejuice just like behind a window, just in the background, walks across the screen. They do not mention it ever.
Which Beetlejuice? Is it the boxer Beetlejuice, or is it the actor from the movie?
Well, it's not really either. It's so far away. It's more just like you see the costuming and you're like, movie Beetlejuice. It's definitely just some rando. But
here, let's try this. Well, let's make it a display capture for now, just to. Okay, that would be the wrong display, so let's do the other display.
Really, it's just Barney found friends and didn't want to leave, guys. That's what happened.
yeah.
Yes.
I said I wouldn't
keep
play the card.
entertaining the chat while I'm fixing. Okay, I think.
Chat.
I think it's my fault.
Start making fun of me.
Just pulls up a big picture of Cody and just says, "Roast this man."
Okay, we've got that fixed. Now we just resize the window so that it looks normal. That's like roughly centered. Okay, have we unscuffed the stream? We have unscuffed. Okay.
Quick, stream it to me so I can see it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. Let me do that.
Electroman not good in cats. Study show.
Believe it or not, Cameron was right. It is a skill issue.
Can you guys see things on stream now? My OBS is saying you can see it, but let me know if you've been told you smell in chat, Cody. Chat are things unscuffed?
Things are as unscuffed as they will get.
Okay.
Are things no more scuffed than they were at the start of this venture?
Okay, cool, yes. Alright, returning to our programmed activities. We are talking about Ilvide Core. Should I read it again for chat?
Yes.
Probably.
Okay, so this is Ilvide Core. It costs 1 in 3 black. It is an Ilvide sacrifice creature typing, which I think are both unique typings to Magic.
Yeah.
When Ilvide Core comes into play, you may pay any number of life. Ilvide Core gets a +1/+1 counter for each life paid this way. Then any opponent may pay any number of life. If they do, Ilvide Core gets -1/-1 for each life paid this way. I'm going to assume that was supposed to be -1/-1 counters. Because that just makes sense. And it was probably just
or at least, or until end of turn or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's missing a relevant word there.
It needs another word. What would the custom Jason card be? I don't know. I think we need time to think about that. The only
find that out.
in the scuffed is Cody's eyebrows. Well, that's a deep cut there, Cody.
Gutty's removed from the Discord.
Ban incoming. Yeah. No, I think this is an interesting design because you're playing a game of chicken with your opponents. But also, past this, it doesn't have any evasion or protection or...
It would need protection for it to do its thing effectively.
Yeah.
I think.
Because it's just like, oh, I just paid 30 life to make this a 36, and... Well, I guess you're probably only going to 21, is my guess. You know, I just paid 15 life. Oh, now I'm at 25, and you just killed my commander with a... I don't know, an Infernal Grasp. Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
I just paid 4 mana and 15 life for nothing, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a big thing. You're just trying to pay a bunch of life, make a big dude, and then hope your opponents don't decide, yeah, we'll pay enough life to match it.
Yeah, my initial thought is play this in a group slug deck so you get people's lives totals really low. Or a burn deck, but you're in black, so you can't really do a burn deck, so...
Also,
I think it just needs more refinement.
Yeah, it needs more refinement. It needs to be doing something more to be really interesting. Also, the sacrifice doesn't need to be a creature type.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. I feel like this comes from something.
Yeah, I feel like there is definitely some...
There's gotta be a reference or something
vital information we are missing here. But yeah, I want this to do more. It at very least needs, like, Shroud or something. So it doesn't die immediately. Or, like, it needs to be able to, like, get regenerated or something. How many repaying kinds are in black? I don't know. But imagine dropping this and then like wound reflection. That'd be kind of funny.
Pretty neat. But yeah, I don't have too much to say on this. It's like a 4, a 3. It's not doing much for me.
Yeah. In its current state, I probably wouldn't play it. But if it had a little more spice to it, I would definitely consider playing it because like mono black's my jam. So
yeah, it's more neat in a deck than it is as a commander.
Yeah.
Tried to do some research, and I'm not able to come up with anything with that specific word. So
yeah, I'm wondering if Ilvide is supposed to be like the life or something, just in another language.
Yeah, maybe it's
but...
Latin or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
could very much be. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty.
But yeah, I agree. It's not doing much for me in its current iteration.
Yeah, I'm cool with just moving on this one. We do got to move pretty quick to get through the rest of these, right?
So this was submitted by Big B0790. This is
who is actually a member of our cast.
Yes, we allowed one submission to all of them. Not everybody submitted, but some people did. And this is when day breaks. It is 8 generic plus another 3 red. Its creature typing is SCP-001.
Christ.
Yes. So, oh god, this first line is hilarious because the title of the card, the name of the card is When Day Breaks. So it reads, when day breaks, enters the battlefield, destroy all creatures. When day breaks, power is equal to the total power of all creatures destroyed this way. When day breaks, toughness is equal to the total toughness of all creatures destroyed this way. If when daybreak blocks or is blocked by a creature, destroy that creature. When daybreak gains power equal to that creature's power and gains toughness equal to that creature's toughness. So this is like Child of Alara, but you consume all the stuff that you're destroying.
That is word soup stapled onto a red card, actually.
It consumes everything, essentially.
It's consuming my IQ as well.
Yes. Also just dies to Doomblade, I should add.
Yes.
So...
hey, we have an 11 mana
good.
big card. Also, when it ETBs, it kills itself. Just saying.
Okay, let's assume that Sam intended for this to just say all other creatures.
Yeah. It would also, as it enters, it's a 0/0. So.
Dies to state effects.
Oh god, it does die to state-based effects.
Sam, you did this. You did this, Sam.
Well, you know, hang on.
We have a problem.
What if we just change this to when you cast it?
Make this a caster. Turn this into an Eldrazi. I don't care.
Yeah, this is an Eldrazi. There we go. Sam's in chat. Yeah.
It's the same cosmic horror as Eldrazi's, if you follow that.
Yeah. Make this a cast trigger, and then like, I don't know if that would change anything else about it. Like, it's 11 mana and it's doing stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of mana for your commander. The only issue with it is in the 99, you can cheat this into play, but if you're making this a cast trigger, then you can't just cheat it into play and get the thing. It doesn't do anything if you did then. Sure.
Gutty says this is a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Oh,
agreed.
Yeah, true. I've been corrected. It's Big Bow. I thought that was a 0, which is why it's Big Bow, so not Big B0. My bad. I don't know what else to say about this. Like this is wild. Like I would want to just try to make a deck for this. Like,
I have a friend who plays Mono Red Chaos, and he would talk for a week about how he was going to build this, and then he would continue to play Norin.
Yep.
Oh,
that is
great.
That is what would happen.
Yeah. No, this card is kind of insane.
I hate to distract right now.
Yeah.
But somebody just submitted a custom card to our Discord called the YouTube Upload Bot, and it's great.
Okay, I'll have to.
We can go if we have time at the end of it. We can go through that.
I might.
Yeah,
I might. Yeah, we might add that on at the end. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Big thing does big thing. I like the flavor. I think the functionality is strong with these theme changes. I'm not necessarily interested in playing this card, but it is. I would say it's a decently strong card.
The only thing I would immediately change, aside from like wording fix, the card feels a little bit more like a black card to me than a red card. But
I agree with that.
That's fair. Yeah.
What if it dealt 15 damage to each creature or something crazy like that? It would even kill Barney.
Is it 15 just because Barney?
We've done it. We've killed the team.
Internal balance,
Killed the
okay?
T- okay. Internal.
You gotta
If
make,
it's all
you gotta
the
make
same
the
set,
smooth
I
brain
would
set
this was
In the
correct.
theoretical,
internally
yeah.
balanced.
In the theoretical commander tournament, all these cards are in. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, are we ready to move on to the next one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
I think we are.
Next we have from Lando Calzonian, we have Captain Vel, Patient Defender, which is 3 Naboros. He's a human soldier, relevant creature typings. He has First Strike in Defender. He is 2 in a red in tap, he has the ability 2 in a red tap. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn and attacks you this turn if able. When one or more creatures attack you, up to 2 target creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. When one or more creatures an opponent controls that attacked you this turn die, you gain 2 life and draw a card. And this is a 2/4.
I think it could be bigger, first off.
Give him a bigger butt.
Yeah.
At least a bigger
I
butt.
think he could have a bigger attack as well, honestly.
Mhm.
I mean, he's a defender, so like
I mean,
that's
a
fair.
4/6 seems good to me here. That's kind of what I'd like to see out
5
of
mana
this.
4/6. Sure.
Sure. And then also like your opponents have to attack you of their own volition. So like I think this needs a goad on it.
Yes, I would
Well,
agree. Goad would be a good keyword.
Well, the goad on it. Well, it needs to attack you, right?
Oh, so
Yes.
reverse goad.
Oh, my bad.
You want
reverse
reverse
Yeah.
to attack you.
A taunt of some sort then. New keyword, taunt.
Does that exist?
Probably. I don't think it does. I'm just
Oh.
imagining reverse. Reverse whatever. Why do you gotta be Boros? I mean, this feels like a Boros commander to me, Gutty. I think.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Boros.
Should have been banned.
Oh, we're just trying to add more to Dragon Wall Daddy, aren't we? I
Mm.
see.
Exactly.
This card's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I like.
well, that's
I kinda
one
like
of.
it.
I like collecting phrases that make no sense outside of like particular hobbies.
Yes.
And Dragon Wall Daddy is definitely one of them. Going to the book.
You're welcome, Jake. You're welcome. I think make it bigger because it has defender in First Strike. And
If
give
you
it
write a
some
little
way-
short story about how good this guy is at roasting people and that's why they constantly fight him, this card's a 10.
I
Yeah,
agree.
absolutely.
Give it some lore. I would love it.
and then give this guy some reverse goat effect.
The only thing I'd add onto this is
The tap
not
ability.
changing the
Sorry,
card.
I misread the tap ability. The tap ability makes it attack you this turn.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
I would like it to be able to do that multiple times a turn, though.
yeah, I don't think it's too bad if you can get 1 or 2 creatures. Honestly, just make it so 2 creatures have to attack you. I think that's fine.
Yeah. Welcome back, Nicholas.
I think it's fine. The only thing I personally really like about this is how this works with Monarch, as it just functionally gives you a Boros Monarch commander. That's really nice.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
But the downside is if your goal is to play defenders and you lose the Monarch to a flyer, then flavor fail. But
True.
it's okay.
Give it reach. Let him reach into the skies.
If we're gonna give reach, then I would want it to be in band.
I just want to Photoshop like trebuchets in the background so you can give him reach. I don't know.
Boy.
It's an interesting design, but I think it needs more to be able to do the taunt more than once a turn, and then maybe as a
And
counterbalance
the
to
stat
that.
line buff.
Honestly, real talk. Can we just make this thing like a 3-drop and remove the whenever 1 or more creatures attack you, up to 2 target creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn, and just leave it at that?
Sure.
I like
I would
that.
agree with them.
That way we're able to do our thing from the beginning pretty quickly. We can leave the stat line as well if it's a 3-drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like all the changes.
Pretty good design.
I wouldn't play this card, but I would like to see it at a table I'm playing at because it seems
Mhm.
interesting. Anything else we want to talk about with this one?
I think that's it.
Cool.
Not
moving
Next.
past this
per
boy.
turn. That's pretty good.
Yes. So yes, this
Oh,
this was from Evening Hat. Yeah. So this is one we've actually seen in the Discord before because somebody was talking about came to our Discord because we were talking about custom commander stuff on stream sometime back. or I think the guy's seen it on Twitter as well. And they asked if they could submit multiple. I said at the time we're only taking one submission per person. So they actually have an entire cycle based around like the Knights of the Round Table, I think, or some. It's like some kind of knights from like I think is this like from a game or something?
It's Arthurian Knights, but it's Fate.
Correct.
Oh, that's right. It's a Fate Grand Order thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Fate is based off of specifically legends in history mostly, so
yeah.
It is actually just Arthurian Knights. It's correct just to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it's just also it is. But if you say that, if you give the writer that it's Fate, you don't get the wait. It's an anime woman who you're saying is Arthurian legend. This is accidentally a Fate. No, this is entirely on purpose a Fate.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is actually part of a cycle of commanders. This was kind of, from what I could tell, this was the face of that cycle, and had like probably the most interesting stuff to talk about anyway. But it was all pretty much based around knights, and it was pretty interesting. So this is goddess Rongomaniad. I definitely butchered that. Don't care. We're gonna move on.
Sounds perfect to me.
Yeah. She costs 2 generic, a red, and a white. So we get 2 Boros in a row. She is a knight god. She has flying, lifelink, haste. She also has God of Knights, another new keyword. For each knight you control with a keyword ability on the battlefield other than this creature, goddess word gains +1/+1. Knights you control other than goddess gain +1/+1, and she is a 2/2 herself. So she is.
I like this card.
Yeah, she is a knight. A Knight Lord in addition to also getting larger herself. I mean, a lot of knights have their own keywords. Yeah, I think this is really. I don't think this is like broken beyond belief, but it's definitely really strong.
Mm-hmm. So I'll help you just a little bit there, Logan.
Yes.
Borrowing from Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a card that also is based off of Rongo. There's multiple different pronunciations of it. We call it Rongo Bongo in the business. So
Rongo
we shall be
Bongo.
dubbing that. This is Goddess Rongo Bongo for the purpose of we are Smooth Brain.
Which Rongo? No, I think Rongomaniad. That's probably closer. But anyway, Rongo Bongo.
Yeah, that's the spear of King Arthur.
Okay, but yes, Rongo Bongo here. She is pretty strong. I saw somebody say in the chat that it's not actually unique keywords, and that is maybe one change I would make, is that like each unique keyword you on a knight you control, if she gets +1/+1, that might be a change, but...
Knights kind of suck as a creature type, though, so I think having a powerful commander is probably fine, right?
You know what?
I agree with that, yes.
Like, you're in Boros, you're playing like the third best white creature type. Just give him a bone.
Yeah, and she's a 2/2 for 4. Yeah, screw it, it's fine.
Like, it's fine. She's cool. You're gonna have so many cards that you're gonna think about playing in this deck, and you're gonna look them up, and they're gonna actually be a soldier, and you're gonna groan for like 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. Just let the card be cool. It'll be fine.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah, understandable. Would we actually change anything then, or Jason, you were gonna say something?
I think the card's perfectly fine as is. The only thing that's worth mentioning here is for the God of Knights ability. I just had to check this to be 100% sure. Magic cards don't reference the word keyword.
Okay.
There's only 4 in existence that do. 2 of them were from Mystery Booster convention exclusives, and the other 2 are uncards. So
you would need to do the Odric thing and list out keywords.
You would need to list out the keywords you're working with.
Okay. So
however,
this gives more of a word.
For consistency's sake, don't do an Odric thing and actually name them all. I'd better be rewarded for playing my 1/1 knight with banding.
Yeah.
Or like you, man. I got bands with other
non-basic landwalk, or something.
Oh yeah. Rampage.
Rampage, hell yeah.
I like this card. Flavor-wise, it's a 10. I'm a sucker for mythology and anything like that. Art's nice, pleasant to look at. I like the card construction. I'm gonna give it a 10 on flavor and an 8 on I would play this card. Just for fun.
I would play at a table with this card because knights aren't my tribe. But yeah, no.
It's cool.
Definitely very cool card. No notes.
My last question is, how much stuff do you lose for not also being in black? Because Throne of Eldraine was a lot of the specifically knight support.
I don't know.
There's
Probably
another
decent
Throne of
amount.
Eldraine set coming, so maybe there's more future support.
But will it also be in black? Because it was Barney based.
We haven't got there yet.
There's enough in 2 colors to make this work. So
Okay,
I
I think
don't
it's
losing
fine.
too much.
Cool.
Right, you're
This
losing
one's
Knight's
pretty cool.
Charge. Who cares?
Anyway,
I think we're good to move.
yes. Next is. Oh wait, did I say who the last one was from? Evening Hat. Evening Hat. Yes.
Yeah.
Next one is from Wedge Boy. This is Ezra, Keeper of Peace. He cost 2 generic, a white, a hybrid Azorius, and then a blue. He is a human wizard and says non-creature spells your opponents cast cost X more to cast, where X is the number of cards that player has drawn this turn. And then he has an ability that is 1 in a blue and tap. You and target opponent each draw a card. And then 1 in a white and tap. Tap target creature and opponent controls. And he is a 2/3. So this is obviously a stacks commander, but also like your opponents are getting something in return. So it's a slightly balanced stacks commander.
See, you're ignoring the possibility that you just do not use that other ability.
Correct.
I would play this card, but he would have 1 ability.
You could use it if you wanted to politics specifically, and that is worth mentioning in itself. I'm kind of curious about why there's a hybrid symbol in the command cost.
Because it looks cool.
Kind of nitpicky. Yeah. Also, slight problem. I hate that there's a singular A in the frame of the card.
Wait, where is it?
This tap ability, there's just a single A.
Secondly,
Oh, yeah.
Actually, this name feels like a PR statement by Warner Brothers.
See,
We don't need to talk
When I
about
looked down-
Ezra Miller.
When I was looking down at my model that I'm building at the time, right?
Yes.
And I heard Ezra, Keeper of the Peace, and I was ready for just Ezra Miller's face very zoomed in to be the art of this card.
Yeah, that would be very in line with the Barney card we saw earlier. So
I like it. This card's not bad. It does things that it wants to do. I think if you took the hybrid mana out, I would be happier because
I think it's probably
right now that's like staring at me because it's bigger than the other 2 mana symbols, and it's like throwing me off. It looks like a face, like an emoji face.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, it's
I
probably because they just couldn't choose if they wanted the one to be white or blue, so they just like, whatever, it's hybrid.
Counterpoint, it could also be to not push it farther blue or white.
That's fair.
Because it is trying to be a very split down the middle Azorius card, but they wanted to have it to have 3 specific color requirements for its casting cost.
Yeah, I don't mind too much. They did this casting cost in Strixhaven with that cycle of commons or uncommons, was it?
Something like that, yeah.
I don't care that much. It's fine. It's just telling me that you want 3 casting. You wanted 3 colored pips to be a requirement in this card.
Yeah.
Overall, I think the card's pretty good. Like design wise, it's just pretty good. Someone mentioned Howling Minds. Nicholas mentioned that how this works with like Howling Mind effects, and I think that's a fair point. Like it reminds me a lot of what the Council of Four is trying to do, but it's trying to do it in a way where you're just actually controlling your opponents instead of rewarding you for your opponents taking actions.
Right.
Yeah, I will say this is a much more active version of like allowing your opponents to do something in return for a punishment. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Which I think, this is like an interesting.
Incentivizes politics as well.
Yeah, I do like it as like a politics commander that can also like stacks people out if it really wants to.
And it's only hitting on non-creatures, so like it's not stopping your opponents who are trying to do things with creatures. So
yeah, I would play at a table with this. I don't know, but you guys
I would play the hell out of this card.
Neat.
It'd be miserable and it'd make bad content, but I'd play the hell out of this card.
Yeah. This is when we probably would be able to play on the channel just because.
Axe isn't good for content overall. But
Yeah. That's why you guys don't see stacks on our channel very often.
I give this card like a flavor. It's like a 6, and power, I think it's like a 6.
It's neat for sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun card.
I think we'll move past it.
Okay. Next we have from Erwin Shayer. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name. This is Hannah Transcendent Weaver. We have more hybrid cost here. She is 2 hybrid Azorius. She is a human artificer wizard. And she reads, at the beginning of your end step, you may pay white. If you do, target non-enchantment artifact becomes an enchantment in addition to its other types. And gains a static or triggered ability of target enchantment with equal or less mana value. And then blue and tap, target non-artifact enchantment becomes an artifact in addition to its other types and gains an activated ability of target artifact with equal or less mana value.
This card's silly. I love it.
It's silly. It has a lot of words, but
I think it falls victim to like Jason's previous statement of like this card being hybrid instead of just being black or blue-white. Kind of, I think you would agree with that, Jason, right? It's just easier to cast this way.
This is a 1/2, by the way. I didn't say that, but
This is kind of falling into that category of like the old guild mages, where they had the hybrid casting cost, but they had an activated ability of one color and an activated ability of the other color.
Yeah. I will say it does have a Dominaria like set symbol on it. I don't know if that would.
Yeah.
That only matters because Hannah is a character.
Oh gosh, that's right.
This
is derived from Panda, like in Magic lore. I didn't think about that.
Hannah Ship Navigator.
If we can find a way to simplify some of the text on it, I'm a huge fan of this card. I like it.
The thing is, I don't know how you would simplify it.
You would likely just have to cut and trim words or make a new keyword.
Yeah.
I don't know. It does seem like it needs fewer words on the card. I agree with that.
I like opening college theses in my hand.
Like, there's also the thing is, everything I'm thinking about right now is adding more words to the card, and that's not where I want to be.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Right.
Also,
like,
do cards refer to static abilities? I don't think they do.
That's another one that they don't really refer to, but
you could specifically just say, because I believe like activated ability is a acknowledged attribute of a card.
Yes.
So you could say like gains an ability from a artifact without an activated ability.
Yes.
Or just like you could find a way to word it.
Yeah.
With
you can
well,
just
I
say
think it's also wanting like it to like gain a specific. So like if you had in theory an artifact that had multiple abilities on it, it wants it to only gain one of the abilities.
Right.
I mean, couldn't you just say an ability of your choice at that point and cut out the extra words?
Yeah. A non-activated ability of your... non-activated ability.
I don't know if with the current wording, that first ability can exist.
It needs to be simplified.
I want it to exist.
Activated
card
ability
can.
for sure.
It's
Also,
one
super interesting design space, I will say that. But it's super complicated is the problem.
Also, one other thing I don't want from this is I don't want creatures to be able to gain the abilities. So I would be wanting to say target non-artifact, non-creature enchantment, or target non-enchantment, non-creature, non-enchantment artifact.
Yeah, specify non-creature stuff. That's I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Even though it adds another word into this
right.
Yeah.
The main reason why I don't want it is because I don't want Hannah to become an artifact and then gain an ability.
Oh yeah, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
And then also things like what am I thinking? Enchanted Evening get weird too then. And then also go ahead.
The main thing is I don't want Hannah to have it, so then you can't start giving other artifacts Hannah's ability.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
This gets out of hand very quickly.
Yeah, I really like this concept.
Connor said more words is exactly what it needs.
It somehow needs logistical simplification and more words at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
I want the back of this card to be like the rest of the words that it needs to play this.
Yes.
Just that way. Just so that we have. This feels like a great onset card, but in its current iteration, I don't see how this works.
Actually, I think this card gets weaker in an on-environment because then you can get hit with cards that punish you for being wordy.
Yeah.
How
I
oddly
actually
specific.
think being put into an on-environment makes this card weaker.
I like the flavor, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to judge this on functionality because I can't imagine a way to make this work right now. I'd be curious to seeing this. I think we're just going to have to skip the functionality portion of it. I'd be interested in seeing this resubmitted with clarification.
Yeah, I want to see somebody play this deck. Like, I would like to see somebody like who understands what this means put together a deck and play it.
We're too smooth for this.
Yeah. Also,
yeah,
like,
I've said it multiple times on the channel. I'm stupid, so.
this is a 2-mana commander that I think could exist as just a 2-mana commander. Like, I don't think this is necessarily broken. It's just, boy, are we messing with the rules of the game.
Yeah, no, this is fine. Like, it can exist. I need to like see it in action to understand it better. I think, because I'm sure it's a lot.
I like the concept.
Yeah, it's super cool. I just want a demonstration.
I actually think that
Clarification on how it works, and then I'm sold. I think this card, if I had clarification and it works the way my smooth brain is trying to comprehend it, I'm giving this like a 9 every time.
Yeah, this is super cool. And I think everyone's in the chat right now. Hi, Erwin. Yeah, thanks for submitting this. Yeah, this is a super cool design, but like we said, we're this is a lot of words for us.
if we end up playing these on the channel, I want this one.
Okay.
I am more than like willing to write myself a like 1.5-page document reminding myself how the deck works.
Yes, if you want to be the
willing
understander.
to
Let me
do
pull
that.
out my index card for my commander real quick.
If you want to be
Let
the
me get
understander of
flowchart
Hannah.
for how I have to play my turn.
I love flowcharts. Can you imagine? They're
You know what?
hilarious.
You know what would be cooler if like the commanders that are like go through like maybe we ask the Patreons to pick their favorite commanders, and then like maybe the people who submitted them get to pick who play the deck. That might be super cool.
We can see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vote for Jake.
But yeah, so Erwin, flavor, cards of 10. I love the continuation of the cycle. Functionality, if it plays the way I think it plays, and it was clarified, I'm going to 9 every time.
Yeah.
This card's very good. I like it.
Yeah, I want to see this deck do its thing, honestly. Okay.
I actually think that this card perfectly summarizes what I want a 2-mana commander to be. It does nothing on its own, but when you have the other things in play, it does a billion weird things.
Yeah, I love that. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump to the next one, which is from Kale. Chains of Hannah Flowchart win. Yes, Dustin, soon. This is Lay the Cursed Creator, who cost 1, a white and a blue. Is a spirit shaman, has flying, and whenever a creature you control attacks, if it shares a name with another creature you control, create a token copy of that creature, activate only once each turn, and then it has 2 in tap, sacrifice a token, target creature you control gains hexproof until end of turn. So it wants tokens to exist here, because that's the only way
It's
you're going to need.
contingent upon having something, like having copy spells in your deck before it does its thing.
That's an option. Also, yeah, just making like tokens with the same names too.
Yeah, works with Myriad. Just produce 2 tokens, and you get to make another one. And it's whenever a creature, but it should say that this ability only triggers once each turn, or the wording on this main ability here probably should say whenever you attack, if you control a creature if you control 2 creatures with the same name, and ideally one of them is attacking for this trigger, create a token that's a copy of one of those creatures, right? And this ability, you may only create 1 token this way each turn, or on your turn, right? Or this ability only triggers once each turn.
Yeah.
You know, I
And,
like this card.
No, it's interesting. And Connor makes a good point. This needs a colon somewhere in the last ability.
Yes, it does.
This doesn't feel super strong, but it feels like this is like a great casual. Like, I'm going to do my thing. There's enough support to where it could potentially pop off and do, what it wants to do, but it's not overpowered. I think it's reasonably costed, and the abilities are not too terribly out of tune. I kind of like this.
Yeah. I think overall you have a good design here. It's at base, it's just trying to make an extra token every combat, and it has an ability to protect itself.
I also think this is cool colors for that archetype.
Yes.
The closest thing we've ever seen to this is Temet, Vizier of Noctamon.
Mhm.
But that's not at all the same.
No. I like it.
Yeah.
This is one of those cards that I would play under the foolish assumption that spirits might actually finally be viable in Commander, and I would be again brutally reminded that they're not. but then I would just play cool cards, and this deck would be great.
Yeah. This
And it is
seems
Spirit
fun.
as well, so.
Also, to the person who submitted this, I don't know if it is, but they credited Victor Adame. Victor Automemenguez is one of my favorite artists in MTG, so excellent choice.
Nice. Do you want to talk about anything else for this? Because like this was I think this is just a pretty straightforward, like, cool card.
I think this is a great casual commander.
Yep.
Flavor, I'm going to give it a 7. I like it. Play, I'm going to give it a 7 as well. I think it does what it wants to do, and it's not too terribly powerful.
Yeah.
No,
all right. Well, let's jump ahead to the next one then. Okay, so this is from Curdy the
Hello.
Ape.
Whoa.
Yes.
You want to try to pronounce that?
Qualm meticulous regulator. That's what I'm going with.
I'm hoping. I think it's Qualm.
Qualm could be it too.
I think it's
Qualm would be what I would lean towards.
Yeah, I believe.
Qualm, yeah, I can see
Qualm.
Qualm. Okay.
Like pronounce Chrome like a Discord kitten.
Qualm.
Q from Impractical. I hate you.
Okay.
Q from
So
Impractical Jokers if he was to sign a pact with a demon.
So yes,
This is his card.
Uwu Chrome and an Uwu voice. It costs 2
Oh,
generic in Esper. He is a demon advisor. He has lifelink, and whenever a player plays a spell, if that player has cast another spell this turn, that player loses 1 life for each spell cast this turn. So reverse Aether Flux, which I mean all of these. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep reading them. Another Yu-Gi-Oh card, yeah. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, if that player had another land enter the battle enter under their control, so that she entered the battlefield under their control this turn, that player loses 1 life for each land they control. Whoa! That should be each land to enter the battlefield this turn.
I disagree. Tell them how
Really?
dare you rampant
Yeah,
present.
actually, screw. Yeah.
Get that garbage out of my house.
I want to.
feel like,
I want to murder green players in the
well,
game.
my thought
Like,
is if you go, oh no, you're gonna lose 1 life if you rampant growth. The green player doesn't care.
yeah.
Lord Windgrace cares.
I mean, losing 1 per time it enters doesn't matter. Losing like 6 or whatever, they start to actually care.
Rourke Thar, but on an Esper commander.
Yes.
I'm a fan.
Yes, Qualm just asked that you pay 1 measly life, green tech. Anyway, when a player draws 1 or more cards, if it's not the first card drawn in their draw step, that player loses 1 life for each card in their hand.
Okay, so immediately, I think we need to pick 2 abilities and stick with it. I don't think we need
This
to
is. Are you doing things that die? Yeah.
I like the first 2 abilities. I think having an anti Aetherflux Reservoir is a great idea.
Yeah.
And
Force fruition.
I like making ramp players cry because WotC so seldomly loves dunking on them. Instead, they love giving them every good card. So
Yes.
I'd like to see something that kind of punishes them.
Wait.
I don't care for the last one.
But if we keep the last one, I can use it to peer into the abyss, kill somebody, and that's my favorite thing to do in Magic right now. So
I would
Nicholas
rather
mentioned,
honestly just punish ramp players.
that's fair. I think the spells cast on land one is those are 2.
I also think that the first time you resolve this guy against someone, right? Everybody at the table thinks they know how this guy works, and they think it's just they will lose 1 for each land that entered this turn, and then you're gonna 15 them, and you're gonna teach them a very fun lesson.
I would
What's that
absolutely
one
make that
card
mistake. Yeah.
that brings all lands back from graveyard? Splendid
Reclamation,
Reclamation, is
Yeah,
that
that's
it?
in green.
Yeah, I can't wait to sneak this on the table, and then the Lord Windgrace player try to bring back 30 lands.
Well,
and
that's
just get
30
blonked.
individual triggers too. So
Yeah,
Yes,
I gotta do
sir.
is, so you Praetor's Grasp the green player.
yes, and Nicholas
This
said in the
card is
chat
good,
that you can just kill everyone with Force Fruition. Yep.
Yep.
I like this card. I think, like I said, if you just take the last ability away instead of giving it Questing Beast vibes, I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's got demons, so this could be used with the new 40k commander Bellacore. No, it can't because it's different colors. Never mind. I'm
And
big dumb.
it's a 3/5 as well. So
Yeah. But
maybe make it a
this is
4/5. I think a
Alright.
4/5 is safe.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. This guy's already got a lot going on. I don't think he also needs to be
yeah, I think
good.
3/5
that's
is fine.
fine.
Fine, gosh.
Getting through life in combat or when people attack you, that's fine. They're going to be trying to punish you for what you're doing
Yeah.
to them.
Scape shift and shambles. Yes.
Yes, escape shift.
I would play. I would play this card. This seems like tons of fun because I enjoy making people be in pain. So
Mhm. The interaction with
Good
fetch
thought.
as well is funny. How dare you crack a fetch in my presence?
oh my gosh, yeah, that's
I mean, all it makes him do is just wait and crack the fetch the next turn.
Yeah.
You know,
But, like,
this
you
Just
just
playing
makes me
slow
feel
fetches
like-
at that point. Yeah.
turn.
This makes me
yeah.
feel like this is geared to make it even for that one person who brings a precon and hasn't upgraded it at all. This just levels the playing field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
true.
feel like Curdy the Ape has some friends who are playing accidental CEDH in their play group, and that they have some deep pain that they've just poured into this card instead of talking with their play group. And
Yes.
you know, we've all been there. It's tough.
Curdy, how did it make
I
you
like
feel
this
when they
card.
played Thassa's
hurt you?
Oracle? Show me on the Thassa's Oracle where they cast it.
Put a fourth ability on this guy that makes it not play makes Thassa's Oracle just not work, and like you have
Give it a
the
pivot
I
middle
hate
between-
CEDH
Yeah,
card.
it's in white. Just give it like Tukulti Honor Guards, like or whatever that
Also
was.
sell the wreckage.
Give it
Oh god, you just murdered somebody with Settle the Wreckage.
Not only not me, but you now die.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah, I love this card.
This is hilarious. I love this. All right, we're gonna move on to the next
yeah,
one. I
I
love this
think-
card.
Somebody
I think
plays
if
a
you pick the
land and you
last
path their
ability-
dude.
I love that. Yeah, that's great.
I'm gonna give flavor. It's good. Eight flavor functionality.
Keep
If you took
talking
that last
seconds,
one away,
flavor.
I'm giving this a 10. This card's good. With that last one being gone, this is a 10.
True, and
Yeah.
you can just play dress down in this deck. That is also true.
Yeah, I mean this also is like everybody, so you also can't do those things. So you are
Yes.
also having an
Yeah, I
interest
do
in winning the game.
like that it's symmetrical. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my one defense of the last ability is we're playing Esper, and you know this is a pretty powerful card. If we get to just draw our cards with no limitations, maybe that's a little too much, but at the same time, it's fine.
Winds of Abandon just kills the table, Tony.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. All right,
I
here,
love that card.
We can go on to the next one.
On to the
We're
next
just gonna list for hours what kills people.
Well, Winds of Abandon, they just choose not to.
Crocodile.
So this is submitted by Max. This is Zentas, Queen of Teeth. She is 2, a blue, a black, and a green. She's a crocodile noble. And all non-basic lands are islands in addition to their other land types. Crocodiles you control have island walk. Whenever a crocodile you control deals combat damage to a player, you may put a neg1 counter on a creature you control, then draw a card. I don't know how many
Yo.
crocodiles exist in Magic.
That's what I was gonna say. I'd love to see this ability this card create crocodile tokens.
Yes.
Honestly,
I would
I'm
love
fine
to
with
see
this
that.
abilities as is.
Yeah, I
Well,
think this
I-
is actually really well designed, if I'm being honest.
I just don't know how many crocodiles there are.
I'm
And
looking.
so
I'm
you're-
looking. There's 30 crocodiles. Let me specify
Wow.
the colors.
You know, that's fine. I was thinking there was gonna be like 3.
There are 29 crocodiles in these colors.
You know, I'm all about it. I like this card as it is. Then
Yeah, this is super cool. I love the fact that it makes you put -1/-1 counters on creatures you control.
Mhm.
I think that's really interesting. I don't know. This is really cool. I don't have much to add other than I like this card. I would play it or play across from it.
flavor is great. I think this card is honestly probably the most evenly balanced card we've seen so far.
Probably actually.
I want it to have a little bit more upside because it does mana fix your opponents.
In a way, yeah.
Just a little.
I mean,
It does make you
you're
just
playing Carpet of Flowers, so I mean, it's helping you possibly.
Oh
That's
yeah,
all-
you
Yeah,
can just play
but it's
Crocodile
also
Flowers.
helping your friends who are also playing Carpet of Flowers.
Well,
Sure.
that's why you find a friend group who's not playing.
Just buy
Blue
out
decks.
Carpet of Flowers from your local game store. It's
Exactly.
fine.
I think this is great. I'm gonna give it a 9 on the flavor and a 10 on functionality. I'd play this card all day.
Absolutely.
Next
If-
one,
If they have good Crocs, I would play the crap out of this card.
I would
I like
play the
Zentas.
bad Crocs.
This is submitted by, I'm gonna butcher this. A Fifiarom?
A Fifiarom.
Fifiarom? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the submission. Sorry, I don't know how to say your name. This is Boca Magical Blacksmith, who cost a white, blue, and a red. He is a dwarf artificer and reads: equipments you control have, when you attach this equipment to a creature, choose one from haste, vigilance, and flying. For as long as this equipment is attached to that creature, it has the chosen ability. It's a 3/3 as well. Pretty simple. I I don't really have any issues with this.
It's fine. Honestly, for the sake of simplicity, I wouldn't mind it just saying that it says equipment you control have equipped creatures have flying, vigilance, and haste.
Honestly, yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think that's broken if you do that.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's all I got for it. It's pretty good
for this one.
No, like it's
I like it.
It's simple, and I think it's like it's not too overpowered just to say that
I like the colors it's in.
Yeah,
I think it's fun.
We don't have much to say, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, like
I would play at a table with it. Yeah, I'd play at a table with this. Okay, so we can move on.
Yep.
Next is from Drouse Pound. I think this is a Discord tag, so it's Drouse8351. I realize this gets into Gila territory, so maybe that is too good. That's probably talking about crocs. Oh wait, no, I'm bringing it higher up. Whenever a crocodile you control deals combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 crocodile token. Maybe. But anyway, we are talking about Cilar, Zago with Hermit. 2 generic, a black, green, and a blue, and it is a mutant druid. Oh, yay. Jason's gonna love this one. It has mutate.
Yep.
It's a 10.
1 Insulti is the mutate cost. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may create a 1/1 black, green, and blue mutant creature token with ward, discard a card. If a creature you control mutating causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger that, it's Harmonicon for mutate.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of this card.
I think it's really neat. And it doesn't add weird logistical mutate's already logistically weird. It doesn't add more logistical complexity because it's not copying the actual mutate creature, it's just copying the triggered ability, which I appreciate.
I agree.
It's not like Ivy.
I think it fixes both of the problems that I typically have with mutate, which is wanting to avoid the body disadvantage of mutate. That's kind of the same thing with like playing auras, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I played that Selesnya commander that like made 1/1s whenever you cast an aura or whatever.
Yeah.
But getting rid of the card disadvantage, I'm a big fan of ward discard a card because it gives you some kind of rattlesnake for blowing up my, like, what I'm mutating on top of without it being, like, backbreaking.
Yeah, no,
just making you 2-for-1 yourself.
I love that ability.
And also, something like blank Harmonicon effects are always cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
This card's just a lot of fun.
I must go on record. Mutate is my least favorite mechanic in the entire game. However, I think whoever designed this, Drouse, I think you knocked it out of the park on how to design a mutate commander.
This looks like an actual magic card. It feels like a magic card.
Yeah, I could see this existing.
Yeah, like
this person actually works at Wizards of the Coast, and we were just accidentally given a spoiler a year and a half ahead.
Hell yeah, bro.
That's hilarious.
Well,
yeah.
Let's just say, mutate Harmonicon, perfectly fine. Maybe the wording's off. I'm not 100% sure. I would have to check. But
yeah,
there's a couple little tweaks to make. Oracle text wise.
One of the huge issues with a lot of mutate cards is you are encouraged to build one big stack of mutate, which feels bad when it dies. This one, because you are creating mutant tokens with ward on them, that's actually encouraging you to go a little bit wider with your mutate. You have multiple options to work with here, and I think that's very, very cool.
Yeah, it encourages different style. Yeah.
But the Panharmonicon thing here wants you to still stack on one thing to get all of your mutate triggers. So you have a little bit of tension, but it's good tension.
Yes.
I agree. I like this card.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything else about this? I would like to see this at a table I'm playing at. I will say that.
I'd play this card.
Not even joking. As much as I hate the mutate mechanic, this is the best card we have seen today.
Yeah, I might agree.
I agree.
Yeah. I could agree with that.
And then before we move on to the next one, it looks like Max, who made the croc, is in the chat. And if you want to post those custom crocs in our Discord, I would totally look at those because that sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
If we played this deck, I'd want to play that deck probably. Cilar, I feel like, it just feels like a magic card. So for like the appeal, the spiciness, I'm not so sure if this kind of just feels like a 6 to me for a flavor. Functionality, it's a 10. I like this card.
Super cool.
It fixes almost every single problem I have with mutate aside from it being a rules nightmare.
This person,
when I
You
would
did
be
too
playing
much.
Hannah in the potential game that we played with this, if my hand wasn't great, I would look over very longingly at the Cilar player. That is where I rate this card.
I think we're good to move on.
Okay. Also, is it a surprise that I would want to play Qualm? Probably not.
No, it's not a surprise at all.
Okay. So yes, next up we have from Kraken787, Crevich, Nightmare Shaper. They cost 1 generic, a blue, and black. This is what Otrimi should have been. Human wizard. Other creatures you control have transfigure. The transfigure cost is equal to their mana cost plus 1 additional generic. To transfigure, sacrifice that creature, then search your library for a creature card with the same mana value and put it onto the battlefield. Transfigure only as a sorcery. If you would search your library, search your graveyard and library instead. So we are potting in Dimir.
We're potting because we're not going up.
No, you make an exact.
Oh,
change
same
in
mana value. My bad. We're
You
not
get the
potting.
same. You're paying 1 extra for the privilege of tutoring your deck and getting any creature of that same mana value out.
And then
Yeah.
it lets you search your graveyard too.
Graveyard too. I feel like that is where this card gets tricky because if you I don't quite know how it is, but I'd imagine just getting 2 creatures that can profitably loop and get each other,
Yeah.
like bottle gnomes or whatever. The
I feel like
artifact
it.
creature that when it dies makes 3 generic mana.
Yeah, I feel like it somehow involves Gary in some way too. I think
Y'all going too high on this.
yeah.
0-drop artifact creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
I mean, you have to pay 1 mana still, so you'd have to find
Pillar's
a
Plunder. There
way
you go.
for when it. Yeah.
Mhm.
I really like the part where you can search your graveyard too. No, it's cool. It's just it's very scary, right?
This can
like-
get broken very fast. Yeah.
When I look at a
Mhm.
custom commander, my first thing is it's a red flag check first, and then a let's think about what's cool second, right?
Super cool. Very breakable.
I mean, because I feel like you just play Gravecrawler, sack Gravecrawler, get a different 1-drop, recast the Gravecrawler, and then just things go bad from there.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just going infinite.
Card that I pretended I knew how to play but didn't. Nether Trader is fantastic in this deck.
Yes.
Yes.
I think the commander overall is generally pretty fine. It's also worth noting that we haven't seen much of Transfigure to really say much about it because it's on literally 1 card from Future Sight. So, we don't know how powerful that mechanic is overall when you get a whole bunch of it. I'm immediately inclined to say that this is fine. It is a tentative fine for good for me.
I would think this card was fine until I went to REDH the next day and saw the top comment was some super easy 2-card combo, and
Yep.
then I'd be like, God, I'm so stupid. Why did they let me become a judge?
So
Yeah.
Nicholas says you can chain Apprentice Necromancer and other Reanimator tools to actually make it like a Birthing Pod.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You can also do
Yeah.
you can also do Pyre of Heroes if you're playing some kind of single creature type to include pod effects into the deck to pod up and then other creatures have transfigured. No. The transfigure cost is higher,
Yes.
but you're using the card's mana value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You're
If
using
you
the
had-
creature's mana value.
for the example here, if you have
That may have been
a
the
0
purpose,
mana,
intention though. Who knows?
I don't think they wanted to pot up because of how Transfigure is worded. They just wanted to work with
I think so,
Transfigure, a
yeah.
mechanic that we have never seen before aside from 1 card. So the way Transfigure works is you take the actual mana value of that card and find something that has the same mana value. Even if you pay an additional cost, you're still looking for just that card's mana value. So if I had a 0 mana artifact creature and I paid the 1 mana to go search for something, I can still only find 0 mana cards. Just so we're all clear on exactly how this works and why we're it seems fine, because it's not potting up.
Yeah. There's loops, but I'm kind of fine with this. card.
This is not my favorite card. I think it's an okay card. I think it does things that it wants to do, but I personally don't really like this card all that much.
Yeah.
You know, like what you're wanting to do, there's just better ways to do it. I think it's fine. I think it's okay. I just don't think it's the best.
You might be right in that the last ability may be the broken thing, because this does mean that any tutor is now a regrowth as well. So, like, yeah, this may be powerful, and that may be the actual broken part of this card, and we're just not giving it enough attention. But for the most part, I think it's probably fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add to this?
Flavor, it's a 5. Functionality, I think it's a 6.
I want to see it in action, just so I can like comment on it more.
I would really hope that it's fair because it's really cool.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Also, nice art.
I think we can move.
I would play this card.
Okay. Next we have.
How many more do we have, real quick?
9 more.
9 more. All right.
Yes.
I think we can get through.
Yeah, we'll be okay.
We have Slivered Necromancer. It costs Wooburg. This is submitted by Foul, by the way, another member of our Discord who's pretty active. Yeah. Obviously this is a Sliver. Sliver spells you cast have Haunt. When a creature with Haunt dies, exile haunting target creature. Whenever a haunted creature you control dies, you may pay 2 generic. If you do, return target exiled Sliver card you own to the battlefield, and this is a 7/7.
This is pretty easily breakable, right?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, very much so. I like it. Sliver, I want to see more Wooburg Slivers, big boy Slivers, but this card it's very good.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this because, like, you just get an Ashnod's Altar involved, right? And that's just infinite sack.
Things go crazy, yeah.
Yeah,
It's not actually, because it's Sliver spells you cast have Haunt.
Oh, this is true.
So you if you like reanimate it, it's not it doesn't have Haunt. So
Okay, you
would need what's that red enchantment that says, like, whenever a creature enters a battlefield, you get mana for each creature with that same creature type.
I don't know that one.
Okay.
It's like a 5-mana enchantment. But
Then, so I feel like one that slightly goes against what Slivers do, because they're just passive lords for things on the battlefield. That's always been their thing.
Yeah.
right.
And 2, that brings up another wording problem. We've had multiple cards that have come out recently where it's like spells you control gain this, but it technically within the rules doesn't work because of that wording. Because you can say the spell gains Haunt, but when the creature enters the battlefield, it is no longer the spell and would not have Haunt.
Right. Mana Echoes, that's the name of the card.
Oh, man.
Thank you, basic draftology.
Yeah. So I think what Foul's going for here is obviously we would be named Sliver Necromancer is some kind of reanimation effect that's not like utterly broken for Slivers. Because like you don't want to be like all Slivers gain when this creature dies, return to the battlefield the next end step or something, because that would be incredibly broken.
I don't know. This is.
I think that you could change it to have the same functionality but actually work within the current rules of the game. That's a Sliver spells. When a Sliver enters a battlefield under your control, if you cast it, put a Haunt counter on that card. Just make Haunt have a keyword counter.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
They just make it function identically otherwise to at least make the card function. Now the question is, do we like how the card currently functions?
I think you
okay.
can. I don't know. I feel like there is more interest. There's something more interesting you can do with like Sliver reanimation.
Yeah,
I don't know what
sure.
that is, but I feel like you could go a different direction with this.
I'd love to see Fall. I'd love to see you resubmit this next time we do this, and kind of just clear it up, or maybe go a different direction with it, because this is I love Slivers. Slivers are probably one of my favorite creature types. I'd love to see this edited to where it feels great, but not overly powerful. Because right now I feel like Jason said, it's kind of going against the ability that Slivers have. It's a great idea. I'd love to see it though.
Yes, like Slivers are a hive mind that like gain ability all from each other. So like, if you can make it feel more slivery, I think this could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. And Mana Echoes was the card we were thinking of, the red one.
Yeah.
Next we have from Javon S. Levar, Trick Taker, who cost 2 generic, a blue, and a red, and is a fairy rogue. The first time, and reads, the first time a player casts a spell with mana value 2 or less on a turn, you may pay 2. If you do, copy that spell. It is important to say that says player, not necessarily you. You may choose new targets for the copy. The first time you copy a spell each turn, tap target, permanent, and put a stun counter on it. Which I think stun is something that got put in the game with the Street Fighter, Fighter thing.
So stun was something that's new with Dominaria United here. What it does is it just prevents the next untap of that permanent, and you remove the counter.
Right.
Okay.
So my first problem with this is just like, if you're going off and you're comboing and the first spell that your opponent plays is a counter spell for that turn, you just pay 2 and you can counter it back at them. It's essentially like an Omni Negate, to borrow a term for Yu-Gi-Oh, versus like each of the players who haven't cast something on your turn that isn't just a counter spell.
That sounds like they're a loser for not playing a mana value 3 counterspell.
I think I'm just like fine with that, honestly.
I'm not. This card is.
I don't know. I agree. This card's just
okay. Yeah, I'm not a spell slinger person, so I think it's better if you guys talk about this one.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it copies any spell with mana value 2 or less, right? So, like, if anybody casts a mana rock or casts a small creature,
this should be like a non-creature,
your opponent goes off with brain
non-artifact.
freeze. You copy the brain freeze, and then all of a sudden things get really bad.
Oh yeah, this should
it wouldn't be the first time. Sorry, it wouldn't be.
Well, if it just says copy, it doesn't say you may cast. You may.
It also wouldn't matter because it would be the first spell, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Also, this should read instant
the first
sorcery.
spell they're casting.
This should be instant sorcery, in my opinion. This shouldn't just be spell.
This is very strong.
Okay, so here's my deal on this. While this is strong, I think it's actually okay. Because
I don't know, being able to every time you pay 2, copy something, gain advantage, and then tap down someone's land, for example.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
not
can put
even
a stun
just
counter
that.
on a land.
You could have
any
a
permanent.
Yeah. Well, again, important to note, right? It's the first time you do it.
It's the first time anyone does it.
Yeah, any player.
Yes, but you're also
look at it this way.
You're still paying 2 mana for this. You have to hold up a lot of mana to make this, to really do what you want, and you're going to spend a lot of time just holding up mana, hoping your opponents play a spell, and then they play a 3-drop, and you get nothing out of it, right? Or you're holding up your interaction. This is like an Is-It control deck that's trying to benefit from your opponents casting permanents, and they can also just say, okay, sure, you want a mana dork? I'll give you a mana dork, but you're not getting the good spell.
I still think that's fine though, because in a sense, for example, if you were to open up a hand and you had 1 land and a soul ring and a signet, for example, right? You effectively have given yourself the opportunity to have, by proxy, 21 cards in hand, because you have other spells that you can cast. Obviously, you're not getting that amount, but you're kind of hand that has ramp in it, and you're still okay with it because you're still getting value from other people. I think this card is too strong. I would love to turn 1, be able to go, what if I just went crazy and dropped a bunch of mana rocks, and I had the opportunity to I had 4 mana open, and even if I did just copy a mana dork and then another player's weird tutor spell or whatever I wanted to cast, I'm still getting that additional benefit of those 2 cards. Mm-hmm. So that's card advantage. And I'm not really incentivized. I'm not really holding much up in the sense that way. It's more of I'm picking what I want to cast, because most of the time red-blue decks want to play on their opponent's turns anyways. So I'm really not holding anything up. So, for example, if somebody doesn't play something that I want to copy, I can always just cast the spells that I wanted to do. This card is too strong. I will be the one to say that.
The changes I would make to this card are, I don't want it to be able to copy permanent spells. And also, I would say put non-land permanent on the stun counter thing.
I think this card sucks at that point though.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, right, this card already as is scales with the power level of the table you're at. Because if your opponents are playing like CEDH decks, right, the mana value is less than 2 average.
Yeah.
But like if you go to like a lower power table, right, and people are like casting 7, 8, 9 drops, you're kind of just not doing nearly as much.
Yeah.
So I think that like those two things are like core to how the card works. I just think that it is. I don't know. I'm a little. My knee-jerk reaction was this card is way too strong. Well, not way too strong, but this card was incredibly strong. But also, my brain is poisoned from CEDH, and I was like, oh my god, we're going to copy all the tutors. But how common actually is demonic tutor at a commander table? How much do you want to put your commander as, well, if they play specifically 2 mana value or less instants and sorceries, I will punish them for it?
I don't even necessarily believe it's just that. I think it's just incidental value that you accrue.
Mm-hmm.
That makes this strong. Obviously it feels great that you want to play a demonic tutor, but you're just gaining so much value.
Well,
and in a sense, it's also fixing your hand, right? Like, for example, if I keep a hand that I know is high-end cards, and I know my opponents are going to play like little mana dorks first, and go, haha, we'll just counter this or copy this, and I'll play my good cards afterwards. And if I'm just copying the mana dorks, essentially I'm just ramping.
Yeah.
The other consideration there is that what mana dork is going to come down after you cast Levar and have a mana to activate him.
Yeah, like that's my other part of this is it's a 4 mana commander. It's pretty unlikely that when Levar hits play that you're actually going to be able to copy anything.
So my assumption would be after a board wipe and people are rebuilding. That would be my guess.
Who played the board wipe and did your commander die in it?
Very possible.
Matt's figured it out. Cody doesn't want us to copy top.
You're right. I don't like Sensei's Divine Top. I'll come out and say it.
The only thing I would maybe say on this is, like, there might need to be an adjustment. I think this is really powerful, but I think it is still, it's pushing the boundaries, but it is still okay. The only thing I would maybe change is the first time a player to an opponent, right? Because that way you can't just copy your own soul ring, for example, if you drew it late or something like that.
But at that point, you have a 4 mana commander that may not do anything.
Correct.
Like at all, which makes me feel like you push the mana value down then.
The other thing is that bottom ability still works with any copying effect that you have.
Sure.
So it doesn't have to be their own trigger to make that. If you wanted to as well, you could tie that ability in with the first ability, right? That you get to copy that spell if you do pay the 2, then you can also tap something down and put a stun counter on it if you wanted to bundle all of that. But honestly, I like this. I like this commander pretty well. I don't think it's broken. I think it's strong, but not broken.
I will fundamentally. I think I'm just gonna have to disagree on this one from my ideology. I think that we would see it be broken so quickly that it would snap our necks. But I can see where you're coming from. I think we'll just have to easy this one.
Yeah, we do need to move on.
It is dangerous in CDH.
Certainly.
Beyond that.
Next one.
Next we have from Pneumo. We have, I believe, a self-named Pneumo the 14th, heir to the throne, who costs exactly a Boros. Is a human noble, and then whenever Pneumo the 14th, heir to the throne, enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. So we are a monarch deck. At the beginning of your end step, if you are the monarch, populate, then populate again. And then Pneumo is an 0-1. So this is obviously a tokens deck.
Mm-hmm.
My question immediately is, do you populate once even if you're not the monarch? If you do, I would swap them, because you will confuse fewer people if it says at the beginning of your upkeep
Yeah.
populate than if you are the monarch populate again. Because
I-
right now there's the possible implication that some people will believe it to not populate at all if you are not the monarch.
I also like that the commander still gets to do something even if you're not monarch. So
Yes.
yeah, I would tend to agree with that.
Free populate on your instep if you're not the monarch. Honestly, I'm perfectly fine with this commander not doing anything if you're not the monarch. I think this is a
I
really
think
good
populate's a
design.
weak enough mechanic that it being able to still populate even if you're not the monarch is probably fine.
I think you can get large enough tokens, like how much this scales on a 2-mana commander into the later into the game. I think it's fine to make this commander not do anything on your instep if you're not the monarch. Because like, keep in mind, like it's any treasure. Like you can do a treasure token, or you could do a 10/10 Eldrazi, right? And if you're making 2 of these things as your reward for being the monarch, I'm cool with that. And if you are not the monarch, you get nothing. I'm also cool with that.
I like this card. Yeah, I think I agree. I think I agree with that. I do like this card though. I like the theme to it. I like what it does. I think it's fine.
Just as it is with if you're not monarch, you don't get anything.
Yeah, I like that.
Because currently, actually, you do, I believe, right?
I think that's how it reads.
Because it's a completely different sentence.
Yes.
So I don't think it actually like require. I think the card currently, as it works, still works. You still get to populate once, even if you're not the monarch.
Yeah,
I think if you
It's
simplify it, I
like-
this card
or
a lot.
whatever.
That's why I
Populate's
would
only
swap
creature
around.
tokens, yeah.
Populate is only creature tokens. Yeah, you copy a creature token.
That does change things quite a bit.
That's what I mean. Like the card
Bad.
is pretty weak. Like the mechanic is pretty weak. Monarch is not. So like I'm a big fan of you populate once, you can populate twice. My only issue being that populate is a dedicated Selesnya mechanic.
Yeah, I would maybe make this guy Selesnya instead.
But Monarch is also very not in green, so like
I
I
don't
like
know.
this as Boros.
Yeah, just
you think
give
it's
Boros
too
populate,
powerful
sure.
if you can populate not being the Monarch? I disagree just because you have to make good tokens first.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
keep in mind, you can also
good
just
creature
like,
tokens.
you can also just heat shimmer something and then pick whatever creature you want and play and just keep populating that.
I'm fine with that.
You could, in theory, if you were able to populate at your instep, make a token copy of your commander and then populate that to always be the monarch.
Cool.
I'm
You
fine with
That's
that.
funny,
That's
though.
funny to me.
Yeah,
I
I
like
think
it.
it's. Yeah, I think that's fine. It's a zero.
Subsequent copies are Pneumo the 15th. You are required to keep up with how many of the times he's just
Exactly.
exploded and a new exact replica of him has walked out of the
You
gore.
have to, every time you do it, you have to go from 15 up. So each token is 16, 17, 18.
I'm fine
Yeah,
with this. Yeah.
I think this card, yeah, flavor, I like it.
Fine
I
as
think
is.
it's
Also,
an
there are populate cards in red. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there are.
Flavor's
yeah.
an 8. I like the functionality. I'm going to give it a 7.
Oh, that's right. It populate is in red purely because of that one commander deck that makes the
Gurrid, yes.
rhinos. Gurrid, yeah.
I think we're good to move on.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to see this at
Excellent.
my table. Next. Next, we have from Blake
Hello,
the
Tim.
Third. This is Tim, Cantrip Mage. 2 in a red. Human Wizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell for the first time each turn, add a red. So fixed Bergie. And then tap, return an instant or sorcery card with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to your hand. I'm guessing the caveat on the first ability was to prevent some kind of loop with the second ability.
With like
and-
untap. Well,
Yeah.
one red. Like you just cast expedite
Yeah.
and you just draw your deck with the first thing only saying just working like Bergie.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. And then Tim's a 1/1 as well.
I think you need to juice this card a little.
Yeah, I feel like it needs a little bit more.
It needs some pizzazz.
Actually, so I like this card a fair bit. I'm a little bit concerned about there still being a loop. I'm just trying to think.
Trying
What
to
are we
figure
looping?
out-
What?
Because you have to untap this guy.
Yeah.
You have to untap it, and it no longer nets you mana.
Yeah, sure, but you
loot
play
probably
Fergie and
involves-
Stormcone Artist in your
involves-
deck.
Yeah, let's say you just play those guys. Yeah.
I feel like this goes in a Zada deck,
Yes.
I can see that
For
for
sure.
sure.
but I don't know that it's
Yeah.
what you would play instead of Zada.
Like, as your commander, I really like this card. In the 99 of a deck, if you remove that vacuum of your own command, like a mono red deck with this at the helm, there are some problems with, in particular, anything you do with Jeskai Ascendancy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, claim the
Correct.
firstborn. Claim the firstborn would go infinite with if you remove the restriction of first sight
Mhm.
each
And then
turn.
no, it grape shot.
Oh, no, not
It
expedite.
doesn't, even
Yeah.
remove the, it doesn't remove the restriction. You could still do it with grape shot.
Huh?
He's
What's
saying that with grape shot it would do it, an insta win.
Yeah,
With
you're saying
claim
if
the
you claim
firstborn?
firstborn. Yeah, if Tim didn't have the restriction, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If there's not a restriction on the first spell each turn, then yeah. that wins.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, correct.
That's what
Is
I'm
there
saying.
not some one red untapped target creature draw a card?
I don't know.
Oh, that's no.
I
I
mean,
don't know for sure. I can't. The downside of not
claim
having
the
seen this
firstborn
deck
untaps it, but the thing is,
Yeah.
is like you still can't replicate the ability. So yeah, if in theory you had claim the firstborn and then Bergie or Stormkiller Arson out, plus
I think
10,
the big
plus
problem is that
grape shot, you win. Yeah.
we're talking about the version of this card that is not the fixed version that this person clearly made, right?
Yeah, so this
Right.
card as it is,
I feel like we can juice the second ability. I feel like the first ability is there for a very clear purpose, but maybe we give this guy haste. Tim looks like he can run pretty quick.
sure.
Give him
you can
haste so that way he can activate the turn he comes down, and maybe make him push up to like mana value 2 or less.
No, I think one. I can't. I don't think you can go above one. In
May
fact,
I ask why?
Yeah, you can't go above one.
Just
May I,
cancel
may I
mage.
ask for cards in particular that actually make it a problem?
Desperate ritual.
I'm not
Okay,
thinking.
so Desperate Ritual makes you 4 mana one time.
So here's the deal. We're already doing dumb things with Faithless Looting.
Okay.
Correct.
We're able to just go through our deck relatively easily with Faithless Looting here. I don't want to give us now just the ability to Faithless Looting into Grape Shot and put it into the graveyard. Because again, like we're talking about a commander that currently, if we do a 3-piece combo, wins the game.
What's the
Where-
3-piece combo?
We've already mentioned that it's Bergie with Claim the Firstborn plus your commander here. That is enough for you to just be able to cast any number of instant sorceries. You add in your fourth piece. Your fourth piece is the instant win, and you do have a redundant. You have at least one redundant piece for Bergie, right? And again, I did specify that in a vacuum, I like this card in its own deck, but when you take it into other decks, it's very problematic.
Sure.
So I don't think you can boost up that last ability. If anything, I'm wanting to do things like make it so you can only activate this once each turn.
But see, then what does this deck do?
It
Nothing.
rebuys a. It
Like,
rebuys a
I feel like
spell-
it
rebuys lightning bolts.
rebuying Lightning Bolt is not good enough for 3 mana. As like a commander that rebuys a Lightning Bolt once per like.
I mean, it still
Almost.
rebuys Faithless Looting, so there's something.
Yeah, but like, is that good enough? Like, I feel like if
I don't think it is.
as it currently is, I think this commander is like in the long line of disappointing mono red commanders. That this one without any like a little bit more gas, because looking at it, it is very clear that they were very cognizant of the fact that it's very easy to break the text that they put on the card. So they took some very careful steps. Maybe even a third ability that gives some other form of like a value, but that being in mono red is a big downside. You want to maybe specifically we want to look at something that makes you more incentivized to play this as the commander specifically, because our concern is making it to where if it goes in other decks, it's too good.
I don't think we have a time for a tier list eating hat. But to continue talking about this one, I'm fine with the 3-piece combo existing. I think you just give him haste and he's fine. That's where I'm at.
Because the smallest we ever got to is a 4-piece combo, right?
Yeah, technically
Which one we got to?
but redundant pieces and again, it's also just like a lot of 1-drop spells that are really good to get back in red.
Yeah, I'm
The main two,
fine.
of course, being Faithless Looting and Lightning Bolt here. And I really think you're undervaluing the ability to get back a Lightning Bolt every turn.
I mean, on a 1/1 who, like, as he is currently written, doesn't have haste. I don't think that. Like,
I'm fine with that. When
him
feather
buying back
exists, when
Lightning
feather
Bolt.
exists. Sorry, Gutty, but when feather exists, I don't care.
Yeah,
No, I'm actually siding with Jason on this one.
Because, like, why would you ever play this over feather?
What were you gonna say, Cuddy?
because you can do more
You just
impressive storm
don't like-
fights.
Correct. Assuming that it doesn't have haste is kind of like a contrary thing to say, because
we're talking about the card where the card written as is, right? Because the whole thing is he said that we can't choose the ability, right?
Do that. We have to be cognizant of what the deck is built around. That's the whole point of evaluating the commander. So we're in red. We're in prime haste colors. It
Okay,
would
so
be
then it's a
realistic-
5-piece combo, right? Because you also have to have a haste enabler.
I'm not
You're playing it
specifically
that
saying that
turn?
it's altering the amount that's changing the combo. I'm saying, and you're directly referencing that what I'm attempting to say is going to be reminiscent of that. No, I'm saying that, like,
Okay.
for example, if it did have haste, and it came down by many of the effects that red has, so to say turn 1-2 we play a haste effect, turn 3 we play this.
Like Fervor, Anger,
Rebuying
all of them, yeah.
rebuying any amount of, rebuying a lightning bolt every turn, or rebuying a faithless looting, constantly drawing 2. You could potentially politic that this commander's not nearly as strong to kind of give yourself the card advantage. I think I agree with Jason saying that this is, as it is, it does do things. I think you are undervaluing a lightning bolt every turn, or a faithless every turn, or something of that sort every turn.
No, I think I'm just fine with that. level of power.
Even gamble, it could just, if you play gamble, you just get the card.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Tutor for whatever
That's-
you want to play, and then you pick it back up.
But if you don't want that to happen, you just have to do this card further. And I don't know what I would
But-
change.
That it also plays into that this card doesn't do, my card doesn't do much. It's not Bergie, it's not this. You're kind of deflecting the attention away from it, and allows you to fly under the radar a little bit.
I'm fine with that.
You
yeah.
would have to have somebody who, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think it's being undervalued. I think it does more than what initially is being said. I don't think you could raise this beyond 1. Even if it doesn't innately just win the game upon combo resolution, it does enough things to where it is strong.
Yeah, I think just leave this card as is then. Like,
yeah,
it's fine. I think this is a cool deck. I would like to see it get played.
I'm a
That's
big
good
fan
card.
of weird mono red commanders, for sure.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, so we can move on to the next one then. Next is from Space Pickle. This is Vandris, Moonlight Corruptor. Cast. Huh?
Hey, it's Mardu.
Yeah, Tuna Mardu. This costs Tuna Mardu. It's a vampire noble. Vigilance, when another vampire creature you control dies, create a blood token. Sacrifice X blood tokens, put target creature with mana value X from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. Activate this ability only once each turn. It's Vampire Reanimator. Vampire Aristocrats, but with some Reanimator stuff. I think this is a really cool card.
This is really good with that Epicure, that 1-drop one.
Epicure of
That
Blood?
Yeah.
No, never mind. The 1-drop one. Epicure of Blood's
Yeah, the
5
one,
drop.
the one that ETBs deals 1 damage to an opponent and you make a blood.
Voldaren Epicure?
Valdarin Epicure, right.
It's a
Does it give us-
2-drop, right?
No, it's 1-drop.
Is it 1-drop?
Whatever I'm talking
no,
about is
yeah,
one drop.
it's a Voldaren Epicure is the 1-drop. There is
Yeah, you're right.
another Voldaren something that is the like red-black and makes a mix of a blood. You can sacrifice some number of bloods and
Mhm.
neg X something, but Voldaren Epicure is the enters, deals 1, make a blood. Yes.
This is really good. I do really like that they put the limitation of activating this only once each turn.
Yeah, I think this is just fine as is. I think this is like another one where it's like, yeah, I could see this just existing in Magic.
It looks like a separate commander that would have showed up in the Edgar Markov deck.
Yeah.
This seems pretty decent.
Or like somewhere in Vow or something, yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I feel like there's something broken about this, and I can't put my finger on it. But
I think the once per turn limitation's like fine. Like I think if it didn't have that, then yeah, you could probably loop that whatever that Voldaren one is.
There may be an issue with the reanimation effect turning the thing into a vampire. Because like now that just means any 1-drop creature loops.
Yeah. Blood Tithe Harvester does make a blood when it enters the battlefield, but so does Voldaren Epicure. Anyway, what were you guys saying?
If you're trying to avoid the loop problem, since it only activates once each turn, just make it only activate as a sorcery. Because the issue being
once per turn and only a sorcery, or only on
right.
I think that's fine. Yeah.
If that's the concern.
Yeah, no, this is cool. I think this is a really cool vampire commander. Like, I think I would see people play this. Like,
yeah, overall, I think it's very good. It's still like something in my brain is like, there is something broken here. You just haven't put the pieces together.
Yeah, I think it's funny how almost all of these have been like, how do we break this card?
Before, like 3 hours from now, Jason just messages us with how he's broken it.
Yes.
Because it's
I might design the deck to figure out how to break this thing.
Yeah, this is a really cool. I would definitely want to see this guy get played. So, I don't really have any other comments because this is just like a really well made card.
Flavor, it's good. Functionality, it's good. I think this is like an 8 or a 9. It does things.
It's really good. It's one of my favorite designs so far.
Good job, Space Pickle.
Good job, Space Pickle. All right, next we have from Tigran. This is, I think, the next to last one. Awesome. Our last one's from our friend J2C, so it's something. Anyway, this is from Tigran. This is Yamashiro Dachi, or Daichi. Daichi's probably more accurate.
Daichi.
Yamashiro Dachi, the Betrayer, and cost 1 and a Jund him out. Demon Samurai. Once per turn, whenever a creature dies, you may cast a spell with a mana value X or less, where X is that creature's power, without paying its mana cost. Whenever you cast a spell, if you didn't spend any mana to cast it, you may pay 2. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you draw a card.
So I'm not crazy that first ability is kind of strong, right?
You are absolutely
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a nutty ability.
If I National's Altar away something that, like, I cast the turn before, I can all of a sudden, like, I have 2 mana, and then I can just cast, like, say, for example, a 6-drop for free.
Mm-hmm.
I have netted mana out of that. That is insane.
Yeah. I am glad it's limited to once per turn. I will say that at least.
Yes.
My brain immediately jumped to pump spells.
Yeah.
Because you just go, well, I have this 1-drop. I cast Yamashiro. I like find a way to discard like a 10-drop. I cast like Rancor and then like a couple of other pump spells, or just like, I mean, forget it. Cast Hatred, sacrifice a creature, get a 10-drop. That's a lot of hoops to jump through, and also I think that like making pump spells worth it in Commander a different way than just drawing a bunch of cards for doing them.
Yeah.
Is cool. This card, like I said earlier, the first thing I do when I look at a custom commander is go red flag check. I've got some things that I'm not sure if it's red or orange, but like it sure does look like a red in this lighting.
Yeah.
You know?
And real quick, Schmackle, you can find the Discord link in the description, but I think you might have just found it because you retracted your message. So it's in the description if you didn't find it.
Okay. So, while we were talking about this, I found out how you break this thing.
Okay, tell us.
Can I interest you in my friend Kobold Storm?
Oh yeah, baby. Go on.
Bring it back to me.
So this works with any 0 mana spell to just pay 2 mana to make each opponent lose a life and draw a card. So now as long as we're generating mana from creatures entering the battlefield, we can just do things with kobolds. Additionally, you know, Jake was jumping to pump spells. My first spell I thought of was Gaia's Will, because now we can just have a 0 mana Yogg Will.
Oh. Oh, this gets good. I like this.
I think there's absolutely busted things you can do with this. I'm not sure if it's completely broken, but it is. I'm less okay with this.
Is there anything we
Like,
would
anything.
change? Because I feel like he's really strong, but not like game ruining.
The other thing here is like, I'll kill spell your guy and cast a thing for free for huge.
Yeah, you know,
It
if you
is just
restricted
a
it,
creature.
if you restricted it to a creature you control dies, that might be better.
Hey, that Galta you play, that's super cool. Anyways, hey, I'm gonna cast this like huge spell for free.
Yeah, I think
I'm
this should
gonna
be.
Doomblade your Galta and cast all his dust. Have fun.
Yeah, I think
This
this
card's
should be
good, I like
restricted to. Matt, we've been talking about possibly playing some of these custom commanders on the channel, so that is a hard maybe, Matt. Go for it. So would we change anything? Like I wasn't listening when you guys said that because I was reading stuff.
Let's remove that last ability.
Sure. Okay.
Leave the first ability. I'm actually okay with it.
Could we keep the last ability if we limited it to creatures you control? The first one.
No.
No, because it still
No.
works with all the Kobold Storm stuff.
Okay,
then.
fair enough. Okay. Remove the second ability. Got it.
Two different kinds of broken.
Rotting
Yeah.
Rotosword. Hell yeah, love Rotting Rotosword.
Or you just like cast what's the 0 mana 13/13 that immediately dies or
A
whatever?
Phyrexian Obliterator? No, that's not it.
No, it's
Are you talking
Phyrexian
like
Dreadnought. It's a Dreadnought?
Dreadnought?
Dreadnought, yeah.
Okay, one
You
minute.
just cast Phyrexian Dreadnought and then just cast whatever you want in your graveyard for free. Hooray.
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah.
That hurted.
All right. Okay, do we have anything else we want to add about this one? I think this is a really cool one, and I would want to see it played, but
Good
slightly
submission.
I like the concept.
Yeah, really cool. And I think this last one should be from J2C and is I think it's like a Twitch chat reference. Oh, never mind. No, that's the next one. Hang on, my bad. Oh no, we have way more until we have three more. We have three more left. My bad. I got mixed up. So this is Celador the Forgotten. It's 1 in an Esper submitted by Quentin McClure. You may play cards your opponents own in exile. 1 in a white, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. 3 in a black, tap. Target opponent discards a card. I think I would just make that each opponent discards a card. 6 in a blue, tap. Draw a card for each permanent you control but do not own.
Point. What if
Rest in peace,
instead
your
of
opponent has a Lotus Petal.
Oh, yeah, that... You just make infinite mana, don't you?
Yep.
wait, why does a Lotus Petal go infinite?
You may play cards
You
your
have to pay
opponents
2.
You may
to
play
exile.
cards your opponents own in exile. If you
Rest
have a
in peace plus
play.
Lotus Petal.
Okay, yeah.
But it does have to be your opponent's Lotus Petal.
Yes.
Or
I
their
would
other-
want the second ability. Well, not the second. The third. The black activated ability to say exiles a card from their hand.
Yes, and I want it to be each opponent as well. Well, if it says exile, if it says exile, I think you just do target. Yeah, that's fine.
I think it gets one of those two things, but I think
Yeah.
the exile makes it like flow better with how the card works.
Yeah, LED for commander.
This is one of those commanders that really scales up in power level
Yeah,
with the table.
I don't think I would change much about it though.
I don't know. I really want something where we can play with our opponent's exile at some point, but just being able to play anything without a restriction, that's probably too much.
Yeah, I will note it doesn't say you can spend mana as any color, so you would need to play five color lands.
Yeah. It's
Problem-
interesting.
Some cards in exile are not public. I mean
Lotus
that is
Petal
fair.
is nutty.
I guess you could specify
I
face
like-
up exile cards. So
I like this card. I think it's fine. I think, well, I mean, besides the obvious, hey, this thing goes broken.
it
I think
requires
it's
a
cool.
very specific circumstance. So I'm fine with that.
You would maybe need to do something like Dauthi Voidwalker having counters.
Correct. Yeah, that would probably prevent it.
Yeah, in which case, if you do that, then I would want to try to buff up some of the other activated abilities just a little bit. Like, honestly, paying just 1 generic white mana to exile a card from an opponent's graveyard is fine by me. Just having that on a commander, even if it
How would
doesn't, you can cast it later.
How would you feel about it if we did the each opponent exiles a card from their hand
Hmm.
version of the black ability, with the changes that you're referring to.
Yeah, that'd probably be fine.
Yeah, okay. I don't have much else to say about this. This is a cool card.
Yep.
I would like to see this one as well. Okay.
Next one.
Next we have Ekosar, the Final Destruction. Costs 20 generic mana. Yeah, baby. It is an Elder Eldrazi. This spell costs 1 less for each non-token Eldrazi you control. It has Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Ward, Wooburg, Phyrexian. Non-token Annihilator 2. Yep. Non-token Annihilator 2. Eminence. Whenever a non-token Eldrazi spawn enters the battlefield, create 2/01 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens with sacrifice this creature, add colorless. And it's a 17/17. And this is submitted by Mr. Fish.
Can we stop breaking food chain, please?
Yeah.
This card slaps.
What's a food
really
chain?
good.
What's a food chain? I've never heard of that card before. Minus the food chain, this is actually kind of cool.
To be fair, I don't even think this is like a broken food chain commander, specifically because you have to cast a lot of Eldrazi before you get to do the food chain
That
thing.
is true. Yes.
When a million commanders just a million like decks have I cast this card, I cast food chain, I win.
Yeah, question real quick. Because it has word Wooburg, does this make a Wooburg commander or a colorless commander?
It is those colors are in its ability text.
So this is a
So
Wooburg.
yes.
I wonder if that was intended by the creator.
You can play my
No.
favorite Eldrazi of all time, Sire of Stagnation.
Yeah. Also, I want to note how weird of a flavor thing it is to have a Phyrexian mana cost on an Eldrazi.
Yeah.
Michael said, "Y'all mind if I just sneak attack?"
I mean, if you look at the top,
Yes,
if you look at the
Schmeckle.
top, it has obviously eaten Elish Norn.
I mean, if
Look at
that
the
was
art,
if
right?
that was the intent of the creator, you know what? I'm cool with
Look,
it.
Wouldn't it be like wild if we like revisit this in 3 years and like somebody, Mr. Fish is just R&D and they just let us know ahead of time what was going to happen?
He's really disappointed with the direction the company's taking, and
It's
he's
just
trying
like-
to soften the blow.
All he did was he saw like GTA 6 got leaked today, and he's like, you know what? I'm doing that for 3 years. I'm playing the waiting game.
Yeah. But no, I think this is a really cool Eldrazi commander. I'm a fan of this. Like,
I think it's cool. It does over the top Eldrazi stuff.
My question is, what makes you play this instead of Morophon with Eldrazi?
This one's an Eldrazi at base.
It's
It has
Monty
Eminence?
Eldrazi. Monty
Uh,
Eldrazi.
Honestly, it does legitimately help you cast your other Eldrazi by giving you spawn.
yeah.
Morophon helps cast the devoid ones.
I mean, true.
Shrug.
I don't know. I think this thing is super cool. I honestly don't have any notes about this one. It's just 20 mana and ridiculous. I love it.
Sure.
I would like to ask Mr. Fish what made him look at this card and go, 17. That's the number.
Yeah.
You know,
Why
It's got to be
17?
bigger than Emrakul. It's got to be bigger than Emrakul.
Because see, then I feel like it's
True.
14-14, right?
Wasn't there a 15-15 Emrakul as well?
Oh yeah, no, the 15-15. So it'd be a 16-16.
Yeah. I don't know.
But 16 is
It
a
was
weird number.
the biggest.
So it's got to be 17.
17 is a less weird number. Excuse me.
17's prime or something. I don't know. Like
17's a pretty weird number.
The whole debate that this is a weird number is probably exactly why. It's an Eldrazi.
yeah.
For sure.
Okay. I don't have anything else to add about this one. Are we good?
Yeah, no notes.
Flav-
Yeah,
this
I
flavor
love
is
this thing.
10 out of 10.
I love this thing. Yeah, it's great.
Card.
And then next
I'm
is
fine
is the one from our friend J2C, which is a little bit weird. Twitch chat.
Oh, hello.
Yeah,
Excellent.
3 specifically a colorless. Phyrexian black, black, Goblin Frog artifact with a Kaldheim set symbol for some reason. It is a 6/9, nice. Tap, stream snipe. Each opponent votes. Prime or tier 1. For each prime, get a treasure token. For each tier 1, draw cards equal to the toughness of target creature you control. So this thing has 9 toughness, so you're drawing 9 cards.
For each vote.
Yeah, that's
This
the
is a
thing.
meme.
Regardless, you just tap and draw 9. Great.
Each
Yeah.
opponent
It's
votes. So
lovely.
that realistically, you just get 3 treasures.
The lovely Boros
Yeah.
watermark here.
Oh my god, this is so cursed. Yeah, I think I would change the tier 1 thing to be like, if tier 1 got more votes, draw a card is equal to the toughness of target creature you control. And then Prime is like, if Prime wins, you get a treasure for each vote Prime got, or something like that.
I would love to have seen this get like the what card is it? Is it the Staff of Domination treatment? But it's like Prime, like for every line, it's like Prime, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and then like 4, the obvious low-hanging fruit of like Pokemon's simps. I would love to have seen this card get that treatment. That would have been a treat.
We say it's a 10 and move on?
Yeah, well, this is the last one is the problem. This is the last one. Let me see if I can pull up here. Let me go to the BRB screen. See if I pull up that one that was in the YouTube bot one real quick.
Evening Hat. I'm not quite sure if you're in the Discord or not, but if you want, you should definitely join, and we could definitely talk about your card. I think your card was one of the most debated ones. I think everybody's pretty excited about it.
Your card was neat.
I believe that was Hannah, right?
Oh yes, I begged to play that card. Was it Hannah?
Okay. I don't know. I don't remember. I can go look here in a second. Just get this text off my screen. Okay, I'm trying to.
You are not currently on the BRB screen. If that was you still.
I'm not.
It's on BRB.
Oh wait, you may just not be. Never mind.
No. I'm just streaming this app to you. To the stream, I'm on BRB right now.
Hey, I never said I was literate in. No, that can be done. That sentence can be done.
Okay. Okay, so now, so flip this back over. This is the one I was in. This is the thing that the YouTube upload bot one, because I thought it was funny and we have time for it. YouTube upload bot costs 6 generic. It is a construct. It's an artifact too, which is important. Whenever a player casts a spell, flip a coin. If you flip heads, remove that spell from the stack and exile it with a time counter on it. If it doesn't have suspend, again suspend. I think that's fun.
What's its suspend? What's its suspend number?
Yes.
Oh, nobody knows how it works.
It never comes back.
I think it fits because nobody knows how YouTube bot works.
I don't know. You figure it out.
Yep, exactly. Yep, that's it. That's good. Okay.
The fact that it doesn't work is fantastic.
All right, and then let me remind myself which one was Evening Hats real quick. That was a funny one. Good job.
Evening Hat did say that they are.
Oh no, it was it was Rongo Bongo.
Yes.
Yeah. We did really enjoy Rongo Bongo. Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah. I mean, the VOD will be up if you go to our YouTube, our playlist, the streams playlist. You could find the VOD of this there, so you can go figure out what we said about your commander. Other than that, I think we're done for the night then.
I think we are.
Okay,
it's been a long hours.
Yes, it's been almost 3 hours. Okay, so yes, thank you everybody who came out. Thank you for all the people who submitted. These are really cool. We are definitely doing more content with custom commander stuff. We're going to be doing some podcast episodes talking about it. It seems like a lot of people are interested in doing an episode with custom commanders, so it's probably a thing that's going to happen. Yeah, so that's what I have to say about that. And then go click all the links in our the links in our description. You can find the Discord there, where we've been talking a lot about Discord today, actually. So yeah, just go join it. Tons of fun stuff happening there. Our link tree is down there with Patreon and social media. So you want to keep updated on us. Social media is great. Patreon, you can give us money. We give you stuff in return. It's a cool deal. Our Dragon Shield affiliate link's also down there if you're buying Dragon Shield products anyway. We would appreciate if you use the link so we get a bit of a kickback. It makes us money. Doesn't cost you anything. And then the giveaway link down there. We are giving away SmoothBrain sleeves in deck boxes and playmats and stuff. So go join that, and you might win some of it. Did I miss anything else? No, I think that's everything. Anybody want to add anything before we sign off for the night?
Having y'all here.
Huh?
I'm just happy to be here, man.
Okay.
We're just happy to be here.
Happy to be here.
I can't wait for the next one to review all the custom cards next time.
Yeah, we'll probably give it a couple months just to give people time to think of new stuff.
For sure. Some amount of time.
This was really fun, so we should definitely do another one of these. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna turn us off then. So, bye everybody.
Have a good night.
Goodbye.